tieflings. One grins, recognizes as the crane, but is accompanied with almost his entire rest of his family uh, of Oni disguised as tieflings. It's hard for them to keep. They're rather large individuals. Um, not like just they're just bigger size. Like I've never seen tiefling 8 feet tall, but they're um.
Real quick, can I go ahead and hit the long rest button?
Oh yeah, yeah. Everybody, yeah. Let me just restart.
Oh,
Um. So so it is him. There is a more pink tinged female, and she keeps herself in robes, and she has a mask that sits kind of on the side of her face. Um, and it's the depiction of a fox. Uh, Another one has stands almost a good foot taller than the crane, which is the uh, more slender individual in more of the mage-like robes with a nice, decent pair of glasses sitting upon his nose. This other individual is large, beefy, probably another foot taller than the crane, with a large um, fur-lined coat. It just kind of sits, almost rolls over his ears. And then a more lanky individual sitting on his butt and feet, knees bowed out, hands picking at stuff in the dirt, toss them about uh, in a eerie green tint. Uh, the skin's kind of rough. These are the Mixish family: crane, lion, fox, lizard. But all right, the big one starts to chime in. I don't have time for pleasantries. I don't have time for coins. And the crane kind of smacks him on his chest a little bit. Like, all right, but honestly, he is correct. We don't really have time. Um, so here's the thing. We would usually come out here and be a little more discreet about things. The fox kind of giggles. But we kind of run out of time. Uh, Close by to the situation we're talking about, one of our headquarters, the best way I could put it is completely ransacked and overtaken by something not of person or creature I can imagine. And has since made a wonderful home out in the center of this place, and is the green one kind of chimes in and is wrecking our plans, wrecking our plans. Uh, Not gonna put it any lightly. Crane kind of gives him a look, wrecking our plans. A complete stop in any kind of supply lines coming in from the back. Uh, and quite frankly, is deterring almost all travel from the South Peninsula out into the Great Expanse, almost choking us and all of our allies, all of our not allies, which is good, but also, us. I want the tower gone. I want the thing in the tower gone.
Well, this sounds more like a job for your engineering corps.
I'm also slightly confused. Do you want the tower gone, or do you want the thing in the tower gone? Do you want both gone?
Pardon me, Mr. Crane. my associates sometimes have very literal minds. But yeah, rest assured that we're very happy to look into your problem, sir, and your illustrious family need not
Let me,
bother themselves.
the big one kind of chimes in, Lion. He goes, "Look, the tower's not made of any engineering I can think of. Almost like someone spit up on the fucking ground. So I want the loogie out of here. And whatever creature's causing it, I don't know. Tell it to go away." It had a brief conversation with one of our men before absolutely tearing him to shreds.
When he says it had a conversation with one of his men, I kind of like start to reach up, like I'm gonna ask a question, and he's like, and then tore him to shreds, and I'm just like, oh.
Completely tore him to shreds. Sounded very abrupt, grumpy, made a lot of demands. And then
What kind of demands?
It sounds
Just
like you, Dreams.
kind of like, "Oh, Fox, do you remember?" And she kind of puffs up. She stands up. She's way smaller. Kind of stands up, and she kind of puffs her cheeks out. She goes, "You maggots don't get on the ground right now. I swear I'm going to take you 2 feet down into the dirt." Stuff like that.
Oh,
It's always good to understand the mind of your enemy as much as possible.
kind of difficult to oblige those commands.
So, something with an ego.
Crane goes, "Hey, I thought so too. It has quite a few minions running through. They look like diseased hounds, if I could think. Uh, it tore through our hallways. It's hard to get through with sound, or they can see invisibility. So a few of ours didn't make it out."
Was any of this spit up tower kind of black or tarry or tentacly in nature?
Oh, almost everything that ran through and destroyed us had some form of one of those three. Yes,
Guys,
tentacly, black, or oily. Yes.
guys, I think this just might be our specialty.
Not by choice, but nah.
Well, as has been pointed out, it is one of our specialties, and as an area of expertise and businessmen, we all know that if you're good at something, you should never
Lean
do
down
it
to
for free.
see. You're a businessman?
Yes, they're businessmen, very distinguished ones at that. So,
They are.
what are
Are
the
we?
terms of the contract that we're talking about?
Fox, and she comes and she's got this like kind of scroll, and it's like this to her. So like rolls it the fuck out. It's like, uh, uh, here, and he points at like a section of it. He goes, "It's on a scale, depending on what you guys do for us. If you guys figure out what's going on and get us any kind of information that'll help us take this thing out ourselves, you'll get a small monetary compensation based off of what kind of information we need. Depends. If it's a solution that costs a lot, then the price will be lower. If it's a solution you can handle fairly simply, or use its own devices against itself, then yeah, so the compensation will be greater.
What
But
happened to knowledge is power?
knowledge is power. But when we have to sit there and have an oversight for those, it's going to end up costing. So we'll have that because it would be your guys' idea, come out of your guys' compensation. No problems, though. If you end up taking it out on your own, the compensation will be a wondrous 100 gold.
I kind of look at Grin as like I think I'm catching on. I point at the scroll and I say, okay, but we want a copy of the contract.
Like, one moment, real quick. I'm scanning the contract, like reading really quick. I'm like,
And it's because it's like it rolls out sideways, but the papers are lined up like this, so it's like it's lined up in like 8-inch like pages along the scroll. So you're like,
and if we accept,
mhm.
is there a failure clause included in here?
You work with us too often. No, not this time. Due to the very dangerous nature of this particular event, half of my mind was almost ready to send you with one of us. Hmm. But I wouldn't put that up to my family. So that's honestly up to them. I'll go. Cut it. He didn't say that. And the Fox Times is like, and then the kind of like whole section of the scroll you guys are dealing with, words kind of pull off of it, and then kind of rolls out a parchment. It kind of slaps on it. Your copy. I'll come with you. And she kind of winks, and he's like, "No, you won't. Honestly, if you guys could just get out of here before all of these guys decide that they're going to come in and blow this place up."
One quick question. So if we handle this thing on our own and we discover weakness, would we be paid extra to relay the information of how it was, any weaknesses it might have, on top of dealing with it ourselves, so that you're better prepared in future in case you come across such things again?
Yes. I will pay extra for information. It's just for me in general. I would, yes. It tickles my fancy.
We will send you all of the juicy details.
It gets like the glimpse, like a mild grin off of his face. Generally very stone faced. Looking over his glasses. But yeah. Yeah, he's alright. So yeah. He
I
goes,
believe you have
kinda,
it true.
he kind of looks over at Iantha, who, like, so you get a look at the difference in what a regular tiefling size feature looks like. You know, features aren't so pronounced. The horns almost of an entirely different texture. And like a good foot and a half shorter than almost all of them.
Well,
I believe she has a way of getting you guys quickly there. She was quite helpful getting us here. He's like, oh, wonderful. I get another test round. Oh, we're going halfway down the peninsula? Wonderful.
yeah, wonderful.
All right. This will probably be my last one. Hmm. Unfortunately, I had a very stern talking to. Stern being they were sternly talking to me about the way I inhibited travel, and I think I'm going to readjust how I do things, and really take a look at the technology I'm using, because I don't want to destroy the world. Isn't that fun? So be prepared. It'll be one of your last rides in the what I'm going to now consider the legacy teleporter.
Legacy teleporter, yeah. I'm very curious what the
Legacy-
next one will feel like.
People sing songs about the teleporter.
Mm, more just like it's going to be old and decommissioned.
Oh.
Or what I
Guys,
was.
our life expectancy just increased.
I'm looking forward to the new one.
Oh, I'm hoping the new one will be much more, probably a lot time consuming, labor intensive, but safer. It won't cause imbalances in the space time continuum.
Okay, so you meant safer for the world, not safer for us necessarily.
Don't know what that is.
And
We are in the world, so I do believe that is inclusive of us.
that's a way to put it. All right. All right, everybody going. Go ahead and step on the platform. And who wants to hold the return fork?
Um,
Alrighty.
Wait,
You guys are kind of just standing there, like zooming up. The machine's kind of whirring up and stuff.
which one of us grabbed it?
Around there.
I kind of give a big huff and like shuffle over there,
Oh,
and, like slap it.
I thought Z did, but okay.
Yeah, I think that we were both going to it. I am happy to take a strength check to say who got it.
I mean, I'm gonna sleight of hand try to like slip it out from
Okay.
in front of him.
Okay.
Zadar grabs it and he's like, whoop. You guys are kind of standing there. The machine's whirring up, and then like you hear a soft ding 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 ding, and it stops moving. And it's literally like he like almost like just kind of like shuffled like into you guys' like group. You just kind of like,
Real quick, what do I roll versus sleight of hand?
oh, athletics probably,
Athletics. Oh, that's not good.
or
I can't
like
beat
a.
you then. Yeah.
You could probably do your own sleight of hand too, depending on.
Well, I was a 17.
Yeah.
I got
Oh.
a +0 on athletics, so yeah, I don't think I could even beat your 22 if I tried. So.
You like
I think it's in my back pocket.
you would have had like a real good grip on it, but like he slipped it out like right before you're like, yeah.
Or did I go to put it in my back pocket and walk away and it was gone?
Yeah, pretty much.
So I still think that I have it in my back pocket safely.
Perception to see if Ellen sees it.
Yeah.
See if I can beat his 22.
Yeah, we got a +9, so.
Ooh.
Oh, darn.
Oh
Darn it.
no!
I only hit my passive. Nope.
I'm just like mumble something to myself about, keeping sharp.
Hang on to that, Z. We needed to get back. Don't take your eye off of it.
So, yep. So you guys are standing there. The machine's whirling up. Some lights are peeling up from each different ring, underneath you guys. And she goes, "Poodles." You guys notice it's you guys +1, as it seems the mailman is going to hitch a ride with you guys. It's kind of blankly just staring out. Puts his hands back in his lap, and then and you guys see the rod, the main rod that she uses to teleport you guys, kind of like stretch in front of you and go, and you guys straight into it, jerking back and forth, um, tumbling forward. Z, you would think that it came out of your back pocket, but it is slowly tumbling in front of you, um, as it hits its back end straight out and shoots out of eyesight. And then you guys rapidly start coming up to it, as it goes very, very softly. Does it drop you? It's almost like you guys got off of one of those like moving floors at a airport a little too quickly, and you know, so the ground's finally stopped under you.
That
She
happens,
has
and I'm
been
like,
working on it. She has been working.
that happens, and I'm like, whoa. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Of course she's gonna mothball this version now.
Dorsch was not proud of her doing the way she was doing things. He had a whole side quest trying to fix that. So you guys are out, and it is. See, in the directions you guys went, you guys were getting pretty much clapped by the guards. Oh, right about that time. So you guys are sitting at what once was a large pasture from a ranch. The picket, not the picket fence, the kind of wood fence that kind of rides along this path that you guys were set down on. And you guys recognize some of the little chew-like jellies, how pig size, bouncing around, a lot fewer than before. Out in the distance, you see some of the hills that rolls along with the grass, and the farmhouse that was out there, wrecked in half. Like half of it got just slammed downward, and tore out. And then past, you start to see the rolling green fields, almost saturated with this black, slimy, like swaths of it pulling out of the ground and and drilling itself back in from this, that radiates out from what you guys can see out in front of you in the distance, a twisting tower of what seems to be just a multitude of black tendrils as it kind of peeks out at the top, and every now and then you see like the tendrils that reach out, some of which now are maybe half a football field in front of you guys at its furthest reach. Sporadically, blotches of black, and some of the tendrils reaching out and not fully curling back into the ground yet. Every now and then, the ones that are curled in, you see a pulse of light that kind of from the tip, inward, and then it rushes up the tower, and then it hits the top, and it kind of puffs out in like this like light, almost smoky kind of, like it puffs.
Well,
Gonna be glad
I'd
we
put
got
money
that
on that
fortress.
being the tower.
Yeah,
Black
behind you
tentacles.
guys, yeah, like behind you guys, there's almost like an impromptu camp of traveling caravans, travelers, settlers, merchants that have all just kind of had to like stop, um, there's a group of construction people who are trying to make road from that camp around. Yeah. So that's the dichotomy you said that Iantha popped you down right in between on the road.
Okay. Well, maybe they know something about this tower, over that direction. Maybe we should go talk to them and see what they've seen.
I'd be all for gathering information before running in there, because that place looks gross. So the more we can, the more we can procrastinate on this one, the better I'll feel about it.
It's settled then. I start walking towards the camp.
When you go there, it's almost like instead of tents, they're like covered wagons, pretty much. All kinds of different caravan shapes. Some with hard roofs, some who have awnings that have extended now, like they were used for stalls and are now used for shelter. Some people, most of them now, just kind of like selling what they can. You run up to probably a few individuals tall. One of them has armor that looks like they are of the Coalition Guard. He's kind of talking to some people who look like they're a little dirty, commonly dressed with the people who are right now damping down offshoot road outward east. They're trying to reach around it or something. And he seems frustrated as some of their earlier road that they have gotten to while trying to make it outward has, yes, I know you thought it has started now. As some of their earlier road, as they have made it their way more east, some of the earlier road is starting to get hit by tendrils. They're starting to collect pools of black, almost like removing the terrain to let earth exposed for the road has caused it to cool up.
As if the first
Metal
round of
straw.
manual labor is not frustrating enough. These poor fellows have to do it again.
Right. Like, I don't see them getting anywhere with that route.
Nah.
Just kind of what you catch every now and then, the small talks and stuff.
Most of Bryn's ever did was to get to the biggest bed first.
Hey, being the smartest person in the group has its perks.
Now there is one caravan that does stick out, almost like a sore thumb, like it's impossibly weighed down and full of all kinds of shit. Half of which, it being weighed down, is the rather large individual that is propped up on the front. I mean, you guys recognize Chu there, sitting around, trying to keep himself sane of pure boredom.
Talk to you, my friend.
Welcome, travelers. I've got lots of good things on sale today. I was getting bored sitting here. Come, take a look. I've got lots of things on sale. Please, come, buy something soon before I lose my mind.
Lose your mind, huh? How long have you been sitting here?
Uh, I warped down here from above with you all. It seems like I can't warp further forward. I'm stuck here now. I've been stuck here before any of these all showed up. Probably about a month or two. Or about a month. It'd be about a month since the last time he saw you guys.
Well, that is quite a problem. This has been an issue for that long.
And the whole area was kind of destroyed before. Came through down earlier, but this seems to be fairly new, and people are finding that they can't traverse the ground anymore.
I see that. Well, when you say it was destroyed before, what happened before this?
Well, from what I can remember, the whole area was rolling hills. It's all kind of flattened down, like the whole thing just kind of collapsed.
Are we physically in the same area we were when we met this thing before? Or is
Right before the rolling hills.
Okay, so
they were rolling hills that were exposed, and you guys went underneath them.
Okay, so I would kind of recognize this area a little bit from having been here before.
Yeah, it's like the same kind of like, this is like the camp is probably on the foot of the hill the guards stopped at, when you all met and escaped. This is P Road. This is P Road.
Okay. So I'm like, so how long ago did that happen? Starting to get a little suspicious here.
Oh, I'm not sure. Some of these guards say that it might have been about a month and a half ago. Maybe shortly around then. We don't know, because the ranch hands here has either disappeared or from some of the bad things coming from that tower. Maybe mistaken.
So these bad things coming from the tower, I can't help but notice that there seems to be quite a congregation of individuals here. Not all of which seem the most warlike. Do the bad things from this tower not come this far? Do they have a range that they tend to operate in, or...?
They don't like exiting their muck. The guards have found that out pretty soon. Since they came down. So we brought back, but we keep having to move. A lot of the caravans you see out further south were the ones that were up closer to the front.
Has anyone been able to push up and get close recently? Oh.
Unfortunately, we only have the one captain of the guard, as he has lost maybe 3 or 4 of his individuals he came down with.
We should probably talk to him after we see your wares.
I don't know. It seems like his leadership is from the back. I don't know how much information he actually has.
We should keep Ilix from talking to him.
I have flashbacks to a certain village a couple months ago. I'm like,
While I do enjoy talking with you a lot and giving you all this information, it doesn't bring me money. So he goes, he hits the side of his thing, and then the whole thing kind of rolls up. Go ahead.
I do have a question before you go. Before you go, hold on.
Rolls up as if he opens up. He opens up.
Last we spoke, you had some very particular pine cones. Do you happen to still have any of those on hand?
The whole reason I came down here is almost for you lot. He goes and rolls up. He's like, come out of here. Get out of the caravan. And you see like a barrel literally walk its, or kind of like shuffle its way out from the back. He's like, come on. We have customers. He yells at the caravan, and the whole thing kind of shuffles a bit. He's like, yes, we will move soon. He pats it. So, I came down to see the lobsters. And then run through the pine forest. Check it out. Lots of good things on sale. I have 14 pine cones of varying ages, but they should all work fairly well. None of which were put from the ground, so no duds.
No duds.
And then I have restocked my barrel full of the spines from the lobsters.
That came in very handy.
Freshly lacquered. So they should put in quite a smack.
I will definitely restock my stores of those
Yes.
javelins that you made from this.
Yes, come, take a look, please.
Because I'm down to just the one rock lob needle.
Yes, if you want more needles, I will sell them.
I will take 2 of those. Remind me, how much were they? They came in most useful.
Yes, about half a gold one. I have 7, so for the full lot, it would be 3 gold and 5 silver.
You know, this sounds like quite a deal.
2 gold apiece.
2 gold apiece?
Yes,
For the pine cones or for the needles?
for the pine cones each.
Nah. Well, I will most certainly pay you right now for all of your needles, all of the rock club needles.
Yes.
Big spender.
Now, I do know that you all understand the ways these needles work. I do have interesting new liquids to check out. As he's slowly getting up more high pitched. The excitement now after being so bored for so long.
All right.
I have this liquid. I squeeze from flowers out north. Brings chilling properties. Good for keeping things cold in the summer months. Also tend to freeze insides when punctured.
Oh. So if I applied that to the needles and then hit something with the needles, it could potentially.
They freeze on contact.
How much would that be?
I have a 1 jar so far, so a little pricey. If you want more, I can tell you which flowers to go and grab. Yes, adventurous. Man, that one's tough, but not as tough as a Macho Man Randy Savage. I wanted to, but I can't do more than like a sentence with that man's voice. He goes, so I can tell you which one is up north for yourselves. But if you want to buy this one, the bottle itself And it's like, 5 gold. He holds up. He only has 4 fingers. He has to be like,
That is a little steep, but
it's rare. And if I was able to go up and get more adventurers, by all means, it would be another one of my things on sale.
Oh, I completely understand. You know, it is really kind of a rough world out here. I mean, as we all know, we're all adventurous individuals who often find ourselves in strange and new places. But, you know, how do we even know that this will work, you know, incredibly well when it comes to it? This is really new to us as well. I feel like having a discounted first sample would be fair for somebody like us, especially seeing as we could potentially provide you, as we journey further north in the near future, with more samples that you could harvest this liquid from.
No, of course. So he kind of grabs it. The flower is called the moon frost flower. It grows and comes up in first light from fresh snow. He grabs what looks to be kind of like a large fig, almost, from behind him, kind of hanging. He goes, "He's good," and he kind of pops off the top. And he goes, "Just a little drop." And he drops it, and he goes, "Pink," and he goes, and it frozen. Very, very potent. Be gentle. And he crushes it, and it's just ice chunks.
And your asking price was again?
5 gold for the whole jar.
Oh.
Should have quite a bit of uses to it. I say,
3 gold.
possibly
3
50.
gold, 3 silver.
He starts to do this a lot. He's just, and every time he does, it's almost like his face gets long and long.
I apologize. My little friend is somewhat stingy. I will give you 4 gold.
No. Let me think.
And
It's like
we owe
every
you
time
flowers next time we see them.
he kind of stopped, and like his face goes from like just like the standard size, and it's like now it's like this long, and you can almost see every now and then just like he's places where it kind of splits, and you'll see like a tooth or like another eye that kind of grows out and kind of 3 gold and 3 silver. But you must bring me more flowers. You head out into the snow.
Absolutely. We will keep our eyes open for them.
Okay.
I turn
You
around.
write a hard bargain, but I will let it be on sale, adventurers. Here's
You're our
your box.
favorite vendor. I turn around to Alex. I'm like, pay the man.
All right. And then how much, remind me again, we got slightly off topic. How much were the pine cones? You said 2 gold apiece?
2 gold apiece. Like I said last time, if you want more, you'll have to do the dangerous bit of climbing the trees like I did.
That is most reasonable. I will take 5 of those.
Oh, yes. Let me grab. Would you like a bag for that?
Is the bag adequately padded to keep them from igniting?
He kind of taps his belly a little bit. He shakes it. It should be. Come, you, down. They need a bag. And almost like it drips out of the wood roof from the inside, or falls off of something that was carrying a bunch of bags up at the top of the thing. Kind of just plops, and he goes, good. This should work fine. He puts 5 of them in the bag. He tightens it up. He wraps it. Well, here. You got a good bag of.
Thank you. I am most appreciative. I believe this will be useful in about 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, then you guys will be close, and I'll be able to see them with my own eyes. Wonderful. Uh, if how did you guys get down here?
Surprisingly gently.
well, how are you guys going to get back?
Uh,
The
You
final.
start to get really quizzical.
I don't know
The
if we are, but
legacy.
we're sure gonna try.
Mm.
Why? Did you have something in mind? Something of interest to such intrepid souls as ourselves?
Kind of squinching his face up in different ways, like. And it's one of the eyes a little like, especially for Ilix. Ilix got this like passive perception. He's like seeing this guy's like all of his little quirks and stuff. So yeah, literally like almost both of his eyes kind of like. I need to get back up north. Take me with you.
It'll be a dangerous road. You don't know what we're walking into.
Well, if you guys are immediately getting into danger, no, but when you guys leave, take me with you.
We'll take you. We'll take you along after our work here is done. Not a problem. Somebody with your extensive skills in foraging the important items for adventurers would be absolutely invaluable for us to have at our base of operations.
How long do you think you guys will take? I have a few of my family members out gathering some things. I'm hoping that they go, whoop! I got one of them back. So it shouldn't take too long. I will be ready when you leave.
Grins looks questioningly at the barrel.
It stops waddling. I guess we're going from like, just kind of like this, like, you look at it like, it's gonna stop her. Get on, get on. Ignore Barrow. It's enchanted.
Oh, good. So that's not part of your family. Good to know. Good to know. All right. I think we have one more stop before we get into the thick of it.
Where is this cowardly captain of guard?
We're off to a great start.
Still back up towards the front where the kind of road starts to branch off a bit. It looks like it was like it was before the center of this little group camp, but it's now almost the front of the camp. This croft row that they're building. You can see where caravans were set for a good while, killing grass, and are not there any longer.
Well,
And he's kind of still talking. It is reduced. It's just now him talking with another individual. Not as dirty, but definitely the same kind of clothing. Kind of. Kind of more of the in the kind of dad bod kind of orc.
well, Captain, a moment of your time.
As we walk up, Alex is like, Just throw a little bit more fodder at your enemies, and you'll soon get your stars. You are well on your way to a general.
We can't take him anywhere. Oh,
Grins. When he turned to look at you about mid-sentence, you got a good recognition of the individual who picked you up the first time. Because this is
Same guy.
because this is his area. This is his area. This is where he's at.
oh.
And so so like you kind of like tone down and kind of like professionally twist the tone when you say things when you see him, and then you're like oh, and then Ilik's just coming right behind you, just like it's kind of like.
I turn around really quick to, Ilix and Zendira, just like glancing over my shoulder, but as I do, I mumble under my breath, Warwick feces. Okay, here we go.
Oh boy.
Like,
How's
can I help you? Adventurers, can I put it lightly?
Servants of Sucklaugh, I believe.
Oh,
All
we're
three of us.
reformed now. We're reformed. Wonderful.
You're reformed. Oh, yes, definitely. We've changed our ways and are now solid citizens contributing to the betterment of the Great Expanse. Anyways, what happened? Why did you get this garbage job down here?
This is my
He looks
jurisdiction.
really soft and happy.
This is my jurisdiction. So I have to deal with this. And I've been dealing with it for about 2 months straight now.
That's rough. Man, I'm really sorry that you've had to go through that. We should figure out, like, what the cause of this is. Don't you think, guys? We should figure out what the cause of this is and have a stern talking to whoever did this.
Look, and I
Alex
have.
looks up at the tower and he's like, that is cause right there.
I have found cause.
Fair point.
You have wonderful eyes. Wonderful eyes. Look, there is a town out west. I have no road for it yet. The road going east, we have been trying to keep working, and I can't. It's slowly tearing it apart. It's slowly tearing our ranch apart. We're not going to have any jellies for the Jewel City cells and their production,
Dang, that's
which
good
will
stuff.
cut a lot of economic funds to this general region short.
Unfortunate indeed. We heard that you had lost a couple of men to some of the new atrocities that have haunted this region as of late.
Yes, it seemed to have spread throughout the night and destroyed 2 caravans and my garrison camp. So yes, I lost quite a few individuals.
Is there any pattern to this spreading? Is it generally just emanating from a central point, or does it seem to be going somewhere?
Conveniently separate from your men.
He kind of looks over, cranes his neck a little bit. There's like a sundial out. Kind of watch. And he kind of looks over at the tower, and it goes, whoop, and you see the light again. Now look, and one of the tendrils that are kind of like halfway up, kind of like almost like it's leeching from the planet.
abomination. We will purge this road for you, and you will forge your path ahead unhindered.
Okay. Okay.
See,
I'll just-
don't
He
make
puts-
promises.
he takes his helmet off. He kind of plops it down. I'm like, oh, all right, big spenders. No, it's okay. I'm done. Screw this.
It's like I pick up the helmet and I put. Oh wait, is it a metal helmet? Oh no, I wouldn't do
Kind
that.
of.
Uh,
It's kind of
hmm.
like, oh no, it's cool. You guys handle it. Handle it, please, please, please. I would like to sleep. I just want to sleep. I want to sleep without worrying that one of those things is gonna eat me tonight.
Not from the back. You'll know when everybody screams in front.
By this time tomorrow, you will have your night's rest.
Why would you say that?
It's like, what? Well, look at the man. He's lost a lot.
He lost a lot of sleep. Somehow I even questioned that.
Well, there you have it. We're solving all of your problems, it seems.
He's already walking. He's like, thanks, and guys.
Nice. This will go
All right,
well.
you know what? No.
This will go very well.
No. I was wrong. Ilix, I shouldn't have held you back. It was clearly you're not the one I should have been worrying about.
He comes back. He's holding a lantern that's not lit. And on the inside, the wicking fabric is a weave of 4 different colors of like a very bright green and like a dull purple and like a bright red and a like a soft gray black almost. And the glass is very polished, almost like it's not even there. He goes, you light it. It does good to keep them away.
Hey, thank you. This is very valuable information and very generous of you to offer it to us like this.
I'm not sure how it works. It's magecraft, but it sets out a good distance around you guys. I have a few. He kind of points at some like there's like a stump, and then there's like the side of a hill that's kind of like they kind of shoveled it so that's flat in a spot. You see a couple of them out. He's like, it's the best we can do. So I don't need them in back. Just up here.
Excellent. And how many of these could we borrow? 3, perhaps?
1. It leaves a 20-foot radius
1.
of protection of good and evil. They said that there's a way to have it do more. I can't for the life of me remember the words. Mages. It's like some different language. I don't. But
very curious. And can I make an Arcana check? Or I'd love to make a
100%.
religion check, but an Arcana check to see if I can discern what it would be. Okay, gonna roll Arcana then. Ooh, dirty 20.
Nice. So, Sindira, you've been given a candle like this before,
Oh.
where the wick is what is enchanted. The word is in a... Oh gosh, what languages do you know? That would be in features and traits. Features and traits. Or is it?
Are you looking for languages or?
Yeesh. Oh, they're over on the side. I'm not dumb. Druidic, Gnomish, Infernal. Yes, so it is an Infernal. That's what I was wondering. It is an Infernal language. Because that's one of the when you do like stuff that deals in like magic fires and stuff. So it is an initial light, and it is it gives a 20-foot range of protection from good and evil, the things on the inside. And if spoken the infernal word, you can pick it. It'll be hilarious. Whatever you decide is the word.
I'll be
Whatever you
about
decide is the word. It does 2 rounds of anti-life shield.
Two what's of anti-life shield?
It gives 2 when you say the command word to it while it's lit. It gives off the radius of the 20-foot radius becomes a 20-foot anti-life shield, anti-life bubble for 2 rounds, and it has 3 of those charges before it can no longer be lit like that again.
I look at it, I think the word to myself in the head, and I'm like, yes, this should be very useful.
It's not lit. Even just thinking the word now, with it in your hand, you can feel it like warm up, and it goes, whoa. And you're like, ooh, ooh. It gives off that initial like feeling that you got when you had the candles. It's like, yeah, that's lit. It's gonna.
Man, did it just get colder in here?
Alex is like, oh, sorry, closes the jar they just bought.
Alex.
Nice.
It's flower nectar. It's sweet. It's just also chilly. It's like a sweet Freon.
Pardon me for 1 second. I'm gonna grab my rule book.
I'm sorry, I am still a dragonborn.
Why? It's good. No.
I turn over to Ilix and I say in Goblin, assuming that the captain doesn't know Goblin. See, you win more flies with honey. If we're nice to him, we can get nice stuff for us, even if he's a big, fat, useless oaf.
Big, fat, and in Goblin, big, fat, and useless I can deal with. Coward is what I have a problem with.
Well, he, in fairness, he sometimes has some nice stuff that he leaves laying around unattended. It's kind of how we met.
Hey, so I did have a rules question, if I can find what's like minor enhancement or something. So
Somebody call rules where.
So enhanceability, that was it. 2nd level transmutation. You touch a creature, bestow upon it a magical enhancement. Choose one of the following effects. And it's got a list that affects ability checks, or so dexterity checks, strength checks, etc. Does that only affect like raw ability checks, or does that affect skills based on the abilities?
I always understood
would
it to be
roll
any
for
skill
skill.
on the ability.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because one sounded very useful and one sounded not very useful.
Right. Yeah, I would.
Okay.
Yeah, I would roll for skills.
Sweet. Sorry, yeah, we've been going through this. I've been updating my spells in the background because I've got a bunch I've been using a long time that, yeah, I'm like probably don't need anymore. There was one other question. So the cantrips, there seem a little different than spells. Can I swap those out the same way I swap out spells, or is there a different process for that?
I generally find that's okay too.
Okay, cool.
I don't see any reason. It's supposed to be kind of like a thing where it's like the cantrips are like you pick out cantrips that'll kind of be like your character, like your theme kind of stuff. And I think that's how they end up having that done because they, it's like they separate them out like that, especially in D&D Beyond. But
Okay, cool.
they've now started to add rules and like to subclasses and other things, and the alternative rules on almost all classes now have this thing where you can now switch out during levels and stuff. But if they're going to allow it that often, it's whatever. Might as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Also, because of the side quest Grins and Trax went on, Zendira was spending a lot of time with his deity. She gave you a bunch of those seeds to use for her spell she gave you. So you can have that one on if you want or not. But
Okay, let me take another. I saw that in there really quickly, but I need to check my inventory.
it's like a more advanced version of like entangled ground or grass.
Right, I did see that. Level 3.
That's up to you. I'm just saying, like, if it was like I'm not picking it because of the component requirements. She's like, bitch, let me hook you up.
Oh, there it is. What was the animacal seeds?
Yep, the animacal.
Nice.
They're an invasive species breed that tends to grow very wildly when it gets into soft, loamy soil,
And I'm just gonna throw those
with
seeds
any
around.
small
It's
amount.
probably fine.
Because or any kind pumped with any form of magic or whatnot.
Cool. Oh yeah, no, it looks like together. Sweet.
Something that the god of verdancy would absolutely not care gets thrown about. What are invasive species? It's a plant. Can't be that. Looking at you, Kudzu.
Fine. Oh gosh. Right?
Totally fine.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. Okay, cool. I think I got everything updated now.
All right. As the tower looms out in the distance above you guys, periodically pulling mana from the ground.
Well, who wants to carry the lantern? Is the lantern made of metal?
The handle is not.
Holding it. I'm like, you know what? You can carry it.
It's like
Alex will grab it.
Yeah, it's like a wrapped twine with like a wood grip, and then like the bracket that it's in is metal, and then like it's got like the kind of like frame that holds it the top to the bottom, and it's metal, and then you got the bottom plate because it's metal. It has to be metal. But then it's got the glass. It's got like a glass bulb that has like full of fluid, and then you got the than the glass. So it's like a glass bulb that kind of comes up and around the flame, and then it's like wrapped in metal, and then the handle is not. So yeah, that's what it looks like.
Alrighty. Well, I think we should consider going and getting a closer look at the tower that Z has promised we level before the day is out.
It's, mid-morning, It's...
I
I do agree with Grins. Perhaps you might need to temper your exuberance.
It's frenzy.
we shall see.
As we start walking off, I turn to Alex. I'm like, he doesn't get it. He just doesn't get it.
It's a side quest one shot. Of course it's going to be done in a day.
Of course it's gonna be. Look, obviously it's gonna be done today because I just staked the honor of my deity on it. So I mean, we're gonna get it done. She keeps her word.
Glass pacing in the grove, like, how the fuck do I do this? How the fuck do I help? What do I fucking do?
It's like 100 million domes of the wood, and I get this one.
He could have been a gardener. No, he has to fight the forces of evil.
Well, let's hope that this.
He's like, Simyasa, if you're looking for any extra followers.
He's like, I have my hands full. Have my hands full.
Well,
All right. As
I
we
say
approach
we
the
start
tower,
moving across the field
Yeah.
towards the tower.
As you guys start stepping into this like marshy, oily kind of slip, and you hear him, that kind of familiar drill sergeant, deep from the tower, almost like it's a distance, but in your brain, but from a distance, is maggots. It's about dang time you gonna come down here. I miss you. I built the prison for you. I got it back. Mine now. I've been waiting for you, running away from me, see?
You couldn't hold us then, and you won't hold us now.
I don't like that guy. No, don't like him at all.
If you want us in so desperately, why don't you open the door?
If that's what you want. Come on now, maggots. Can you handle my tower?
My, how
You're
are
gonna
those
get
slime
put in the
balls
brig.
grown up?
Yeah, it's like the familiar to the Colonel unit that you heard with like this like
Oh boy.
odd gurgling in the background. Like it's more than just him.
See, I told you we shouldn't take him with us. He was not a good apple.
And then the front.
You think this prison for us, but you don't understand. You just built the walls to your own. Oh, that one started well.
Oh, yeah, it's kind of like this weird like twist.
No, I believe
then,
in
like,
you. You can keep going, Z.
And then like
You
two
won't
of them,
sell.
and the two of them like where you guys are standing at, kind of like
Ew.
like kind of spread open, digging into the ground. The bottom of it just. So it kind of leaves like indents on the sides of the spaces.
I
He's gonna
stop.
step over.
I stop and I'm like, guys, I don't want to dampen your enthusiasm, but I feel like this might be a trap. Just be careful.
Oh, well, normally I would be careful, but we're on the clock now.
it peers out into the darkness, you guys have night vision, peering into the darkness. Oh, excuse me. Did I lose everything? Peering into the darkness. 3 lights just womp, womp, womp. And one of them comes kind of sloshing down, almost like it was squeezed out and then just on the ground. Kind of rolls around and twists out. It kind of sits itself upright. The head, just this large eyeball. Looks over. Sees you guys, and the eye glows for it. And a few other ones. And the other one kind of off on the ground. Alright, maggots. My hounds will get you. Best stay froggy.
I remember these guys.
Right. Okay, well. About how far away are the lights that we see?
The closest one was the one that popped from the ground about 40 feet in front of you guys. Kind of like somebody squeezed, pushed it out of the ground, and just kind of flopped like a newborn, and is now kind of like flailing about trying to right itself.
Was so beautiful.
Disgusted. I'm like, well, that's unholy.
It's all unholy. All of it is an unholy mess of nothing. Yeah, and then the furthest one is the one that dropped from the highest, and it is the earliest one dropped, and it's slowly getting itself upright. About 80 feet from you.
Alright, well. This seems like most jailers that I know, they are pompous and they think that they've got, so much authority and power, but really they're just
I'm
cowards.
sorry, how
hiding in
many
their own holes.
jailers do you know?
Oh, well. only a couple, but I mean, how many jailers do you know?
Have you guys roll initiative?
He just points at the tower.
All right, initiative, and oh, no. Oh! Well, Matt's got 24, and I've got 4.
Nat 20 for 24.
Oof.
Well,
All right. So we've got
decent spread here.
We've got Grins. We've got Hound 1 and 2. One and 2. And we have Illit. And then Hound 3. But not in the first turn because he's still squibbling around. And then he got some diagram. So not this turn, but next turn. As he did not hit the ground hard, he is still trying to squeeze out of his loose baby sack. Like some gross alien. It's all of this gross in here, guys. Just letting you know. It's like the worst kind of ribbed. Like think of what an alien tower would look like. And random alien, like aliens from the movie, and that. It's just that. It's dripping.
Ew.
It's dark. There are lights from these damn things staring you down. Grins. What will you do?
Well, we're going to start out with being pretty conservative here. We're just going to go ahead and seeing the closest of the nasty doggos. Gonna go
Kind of still out of commission. So it is technically prone right
now. Okay. and then you said it was the furthest away one that's still wriggling out of its thing.
The furthest away one is the one that got up first. The closest one is still wiggling about. Came out from the ground.
And then the one in the middle is.
It's off to the right a little bit. It's about 50 feet. And it has just now gotten its back end twisted from being completely the opposite direction. As it got up on its front legs, and then the whole backside just twisted around, and it got back up on its back legs. It's like staring some of you down.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and lead off with a vicious mockery on that guy then. So looking at the hound, I'm like, oh, I remember your kind. Yeah, my vicious mockeries failed me, but anyway, so. That's a.
You're so ugly, you can't think of anything to say.
Oh, help on the vicious mockery! It comes and hits the bro.
It's like some jailer's pet you guys turned out to be last time. I mean, here we are, free as a bird.
You see the dimming of the lights. Alright, that's a vicious mockery.
Yes.
A bonus action?
It's a
bonus
wisdom
action
save of 16.
Yeah. It doesn't have that kind of wisdom. 16 minus 2!
Alright. Well, it will take 2d4 psychic damage and has disadvantage on its next attack.
Oh, yeah. So this.
6.
Nice. 6 on number 2. Alright.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to go ahead and, I'm just going to go ahead and pat Ilix on the back. I'm like, you've got this, man. You always have I'm like, you're always the center and core of our fight, and you've got it this time. So, and
Think of it like a
bardic inspiration.
think of it like a WWE thing where Grinch is like, and Grinch is like, with the help, with the help.
Nice.
So that'll be a 1d8 bonus for you on some roll in the next 10 minutes.
All right.
Hound 2 comes in, will use its bonus action. Its eye shifts colors from like a standard emergency like red to a very bright but soft orange. And its front paws and back paws start to tap and vibrate wildly. And it hastes itself.
Grins, what did you do?
I didn't do that.
The one in back. The one in back. So it just, and then falls towards Ilix, covering the distance. And then we'll make 2 bite attacks on you now because it's hasted. I will roll on the screen.
This is not the one that got hit with vicious mockery?
No.
Okay.
That one will come next. He is 14 plus 5 for a 19 and 13. 12. Or 12.
Zendaya, what are you doing?
So it comes at you with a 19 and a 12.
Okay. Gonna use my reaction. The 12 misses. Gonna use my reaction on the 19, and a warhammer just like sweeps out of nowhere, just kind of a shining golden warhammer just kind of sweeps past and deflects it before it hits with Semyos's guide.
it goes snapping. It goes snapping at you, and you back up and you hold up its head, goes whack, and then it gets its front paws on your hand and goes to really bite down on your head, and this hammer comes whack.
Bad dog.
As it kind of rolls itself off, it kind of like stares around, and looks at you. Its feet piecing about. The other one that hit will come looking at Grins, and will come within 20 feet, and then its eyes will change
Oh, not this
from
again.
the warning red to a soft but very bright green light, and it starts to glow real hot, and it gets very bright, and you hear a soft whirring in the background, and then it stares you down and goes across in a cone, which will be a 15 DC with dexterity saving throw
All right, here we go.
with advantage.
With advantage, thank you.
Good.
Still a fail.
Oh,
Ah.
Does this count as an attack?
yes,
Okay.
which is why you got
That's why I
advantage.
have advantage. I gotcha.
It's like, oh, it's going to use an eye beam, and I'm like, no, okay, we can still do that. So yeah, I mean, like it goes to charge up, and it like a piece of it kind of like breaks a tad, and it kind of shuffles its head over to the side, and you see the light kind of blink a bit, and it goes and blazes across, and you kind of hop over. You're like, oh shit! And you hop, and it's like, and it hits your toes. You're like, ah. But it does. Oh, we'll do this on. I'd rather you guys see it. So this does. Bap bap bap. 4 11 points of fire damage.
Wow, that's hot. Woo. Man, freaking
with its scorching eye ray. And then it is Illich's turn.
All right. So Katya is still currently summoned.
Mm-hmm.
So
Quite a bit bigger than these. Like they're like the size of like regular hounds. And she's like the size of a fucking panther.
yeah. All right. So the one that let's see here. So the one hasted and came and attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other one, or one of the other ones, went. How close is it to?
It was about 60 feet from the group, and then it came to about 20 feet from you guys.
And that's the one that hit Grins with the beam.
Yep.
Okay.
And the other one is still 40 feet away and is now ripped its paws out of its little fleshy sack.
All right. So Ilix is just kind of, he's got the primary spike. He's going to deal with the one that he's got right now. Would it have taken, can I say that he had dipped the primary spike into the cold stuff?
Mm-hmm. It does
Cold
still have property. It has a forest property. A forest property. Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Action. So, primary spike, two-handed. That is, it was almost bad. 24 to hit,
Oh yeah.
and he's going to go ahead and expend a charge on that to lock him down. So it is stuck right next to me. It is 7 piercing damage, and then how much? did it get from the porous?
2d6 frost damage.
2d6. Ooh, I like it. Not great, but 5 frost damage on top of that. And then also an additional d6 of lightning damage from Kachi's Infused Strikes,
Nice.
which is a full 6. Sweet.
Much better.
And then, let's see here. Am I free to make a second attack with the primary spike, or do I have to hold it in place to lock this guy down?
You will then have to pull it out to use the attack. So that's the caveat for having the unrolled lock, where you can lock a person down, or you can, with the whip, being able to knock them down or hold or grapple them. To use it again, you must ungrapple them or
All right, so he's locked down, and then with my other hand, I'm actually just going to whip out one of the daggers and throw it at the one that hit Grins.
Mm-hmm. For what?
14 to hit.
Yes, just hits.
Sweet.
It's almost
5
like
piercing damage.
Yep, as that thing comes rolling out, and it kind of turns to look, and it smacks. It almost gets a good like as tumbling, it slices it good, smacks its head around, and it kind of looks over at you. Its eye beeping about. The other one, very weird. Like you stab it down, and it hits the ground, and it goes to try to get up, and then it just gets electrocuted, and it like fries a bit. And then it kind of stops, and it goes to get back up, and it slowly starts to freeze up. He goes to try to shake it off.
Oh, I'm also going to expend Favored Foe on the one that I hit with the spear, which is going to be another D4 damage. Or no, I'm sorry. We leveled up. It's a D6. And it's a full extra 6 piercing damage.
Oh, goodness. So, altogether, that was...
Okay, it was 5 cold damage.
5. And then...
Here, I just gotta look at the history here.
Right, and he had electric.
Yep. All right. 13 piercing damage altogether. And then 14... Oh, no, that was the hit. 5 cold damage, 6 lightning damage,
and 6 more damage with the 7 damage. So 7.
Well, the 7 and the 6 together made for 13 piercing, plus 5 cold, so 18 damage total, plus 6 lightning puts us at 24 total damage on the one.
Boom, boom.
Oh yeah, so you can see the machinations on the inside of this thing just start to pop and twist and break as the electricity starts to ride through it, like tendrils are like popping out, and like almost the entire back frame of it is kind of like ripping out of itself, as like a gyro in the back that dealt with its like spine right above the hip has gone into free for all and is just spinning its back end, and you can see it's like the hind legs like slap and then grind across the ground under itself and then slap back again and then grind out. It's looking wrecked, hard wrecked.
Bonus action.
It went from I'm trying to fight you to I'm now something hardcore.
All right. Bonus action. Katya is going to run over and attack the one that I hit with the dagger. But she's actually just going to attempt to grapple it.
All right.
And lock him down. So she's got +3.
Mm-hmm.
Hang on, babe.
Is for strength. Yep.
Yeah, strength check. So.
Unless you roll terrible. That's 10.
18 on the die plus 3, so 21.
Nope. 7 plus 3, 10.
So she locks this one down. It is
So basically,
grappled.
its fake neck and just just tramples this thing, kind of.
Yeah, so it was like the dagger smacked into the side of its head, and she was right behind it as it turned its head. She kind of like leaped over it and did the pit bull, grab the neck and lock on and hold down.
Alright, sorry about that. Alright, Zendira. And how much damage did the lockdown do? Or did it do any damage?
Strictly technically speaking, a grapple doesn't do damage. This is just holding it down in place.
Cool. So then Zendira, you're looking at one stuck down on a spear. You're looking at another one stuck down by a large dragon whelp, and another one is now just starting to peel its way out of its little flesh cocoon.
Yeah. So I see that one coming out of its disgusting cocoon thing, and I want to hit it before it gets fully operational.
I want to hit that thing.
Yeah, pretty much. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do a simple produce flame, and gonna try to cast a little mini fireball at it as it's coming out of its cocoon. So where are we standing in relation to each other right now? I imagine we're probably all pretty close together at the moment.
Yeah. If you guys have no objections, about maybe 5 feet from each other, so you get like a Grins 5 feet, Ilix 5 feet, Zendira. You guys kind of walked hand in hand, skipped into the building. However it went.
Yep. There's something. That's how I imagine it. Basically, it happened.
In Zendira's reality, y'all held hands, skipped into the tower, and and fought a boulder.
Yep.
We're like, praise a clap.
Okay, so we're gonna roll to hit. Oh my gosh, it's 2. It was dancing around the natural 20 and then went 2.
No.
So that's altogether it's an 8. And I'm pretty sure it doesn't hit.
Oh no, it does not.
Well.
It does not. Actually, this is a ranged attack, right?
It is ranged. Oh no.
Yeah.
Even though, like, it's
I mean, technically, it would be disadvantaged, so you would only end up rolling lower.
Oh, this would be disadvantaged?
Yes, it's a ranged attack on a prone individual.
I didn't know that was disadvantaged. That's good to know.
Then, go ahead and roll me 2 more. We'll just do it then. That'll be the disadvantage roll for produce flame.
Okay, so just click this twice.
Yeah, I guess you just click it.
Yeah.
It does the dice for it.
So that's the first one, which is 6. This is really bad. And the second one's a 14, so that would be a 6.
Ooh, that sucks.
It's pretty bad.
So the 12 is a little low, but nothing in here is flameproof.
It's just a ring of fire goes like all the way around us.
Just all of you guys leaving the going back to the grove with the now a giant swath of the Great Expanse literally just on fire.
I call it the fire wastes.
Tower's done.
We're gonna come back.
Oh, good. How'd you guys do? Scorched earth. He dropped a candle. He dropped oil. So you hit it. You throw it at it, and it's flopping around, and it kind of rolls and flops, and it hits. It hits like next to it, and it runs its spine back, and it kind of starts ripping down the back after its feet are out, and it flops over, and the one flap falls over the flames, and it goes, and it starts to burn a bit. Gives him a little hot feet. And now is about 15 feet from you, as the area that you lit fire is not a place it can go right now anymore. Grims, it's your turn.
I turned to look. I was like, have none of the construction workers tried fire?
Probably. Probably. Grins, right before your turn.
Yes.
Right before your turn. The lair action. From the top rolls down out of the darkness, almost like out of the shadows itself. This smooth orb kind of drips about it. Starts to descend from the top, and as it does, a few tendrils tend to starts to peel off of it. Sitting on top, Ilix got kind of a sight of this earlier. What a corrupt kernel looks like. This small Ekern-size being. It's impossibly large compared to the rest of its small little body head, but twisted in these gripping tendrils that kind of roll out from the back of its circle head. The line that was its mouth before, in this weird gnarled grit, and then from the center, a small singular eye that, when it initially looks out, is just a small white dot, kind of like one of Ekern's eyes, although it is black and the eye is white. And then it goes and looks at you, and the whole thing almost takes up the whole circle of its head. Looks at you as it has a few tendrils coming out of the back. Then a little body at the bottom, as it kind of sinks down on top. Well, y'all in here causing some problems, maggots. I'm gonna lock you up, just like these individuals. It kind of points back, and it's almost like the glow as it does its initial pulse. The light runs along these tendrilled walls, and you can see a menagerie of creatures and people just like in the wall, wrapped and covered, and some of them slowly now have nothing over their bones and such. I give them life sentences. So now, you causing trouble, ready to
10 minutes.
y'all left me there, and I got all this combined. Now, I almost think the same as this thing I'm on. And I rubbed its big old head just like this with its little hands, just this. Just can I do that?
I would like a South Park style drawing of this character.
Yeah, literally like his little brother, he literally looks like the Canadians, right?
Yeah. I'm
Or
not
what
gonna
are the
play,
auto
pal.
or what are the auto tones, right? You know, ones with the little face you squeeze aside, it goes meh, meh, you know, like those. They all look like that. All of them with a little body underneath. It's hilarious. So that the one Ilix ran into kind of looked like one of those, but taken by Venom, and this one looks like a beholder with a little body.
I have to give them points for creativity. Ugh.
Ekern looks like a little one trying to do the polka or something. I mean, he's gonna do some like Swedish polka dance. So he comes down. He's like, I can't even stop the talking that's going on in my head. It's like it consistently wants me to eat and consume and just be here. I don't want to be here. And the circle underneath it kind of like jerks and vibrates, and it opens like a couple of its panels almost, and just like reaches out and slaps the spear out of the one, kind of like pushes it back into your hand and grabs it and kind of drags it back. You can see it kind of literally like trying to get away as it goes, woo! And it's like scraping and screeching it's not really like a tentacle, but like someone slapped it with magnet putty and just slap over it, and it slowly starts to cover the whole thing, and you can hear crunching and creaking sounds as the inside literally shrinks, and the light from the bulb is the only thing outside of this gripping mass, twinkles out as it lifts it up to itself, you know, and closes the hatch behind it. I can't get it to stop doing that either. Two more kind of drop out of the ceiling. Almost like the eye behind this little kernel unit flickers a bit. He goes, "Gentlemen, I'm going to apologize for what I'm about to do." And the whole thing, you can see the sphere break around the center, because you see pieces of it start to jag, and this large mouth starts to open wide. I'm going to you all. I'm going to try to keep the eye closed as long as I can, maggots. Before it takes me. It's time. Do it now or never. And then it kind of smacks the ground and kind of hovers a bit. You know, combat initiated. The fight of the beholding water. As the one eye of the one hound starts to slowly creak out from behind it, attached to some liquidy tendril, starts to glow, witnessing the birth of the first beholder.
Well, this is less than ideal.
Go ahead, Grinch. that was the lair action.
All right, how far away is this thing?
It is dropped in the center of the room, about 50 feet from everybody.
All right, and it dropped 2 new robo dog things.
Yep, and they'll be available next round.
Next round. So we only have the one. This
I
grapple.
think about the one grappled, and then the other one has just stepped its way out of some flaming floor, and is now operational.
How big is the room we're in?
The room is about 200 feet in diameter. So from where you guys are at, there's about 180 feet. You guys are about 20 feet in. And then there's 100 feet on each end.
And how tall is the ceiling? Like big ceiling, big roof?
It goes almost like there's no center into this tower.
Okay.
It's just a bunch of tendrils that have twisted upward out of the ground.
Just wondering if I can call lightning or not.
Yes, you can. As there is, while a ceiling, the tendrils do kind of taut and then spray out in the top. And there's a good maybe 300 feet or so of space above you guys.
All right. Well,
Does Call Lightning have an area damage? Or is it strictly attacking individuals?
I mean, frankly, I'm probably more likely to use Cruel Sun, but yeah. It's down. Each
Just
creature
thought
within
I'd
5 feet of the point must make a dexterity saving throw. 3d10 on a fail or half on a successful.
Okay. Because I was just going to say, Katya is immune to lightning right now. So if
sweet,
you
but I
ever
can-
wanted to hit one of the ones that was locked down,
Sorry, this thing's way cooler than I thought. I can keep on calling it.
yeah,
Yes.
it's concentration.
That's awesome.
Concentration, you can call it down on bonus action. You next! Ah!
Well, it looks like it's a full action.
Correct me if I'm wrong, DM. Do grappled creatures get disadvantage on dexterity saves?
Mm-hmm.
And Katya is immune to lightning.
Oh, ho, ho.
Mm-hmm.
Are we sure it doesn't like funnel through Katya and give her like a big bonus to her attacks? Can I just keep on hitting Katya with lightning strikes?
Technically, she's immune to it, so it's not like you can't. You can't.
Nice. I can try at least, and I can keep on trying.
Zendira's over here like, anime! That's like back in the day when you used to be able to use heat metal to give fire properties to your weapons. And instead
I
it
was
just
just looking at that and wondering it, but I'm like, oh no, that'd probably hurt him if I tried to do that.
it heats the whole thing.
Ah,
Now, if you had a sword that had a flame-resistant handle, possibly.
that would be fun.
sorry.
Nice.
Also, what if you like held an action and cast it on something after it was thrown?
Yeah.
All right.
What you would do is you would hold action, heat metal, and then for waiting for it to be thrown. So then somebody else would toss it. You would be like, bam, heat metal, and then it would fly around and, or you trick somebody into entering into the zipper armor, the armor that you can't doff, and then you heat metal it.
Ooh, that's nasty.
All right. Well, I am not very pleased that we're seeing this jailer's new form manifest here. So I'm just gonna do something pretty straightforward for starters, and just gonna chuck a dagger in his direction.
Take this.
The unit or the actual the actual spear itself?
I was gonna throw a dagger at the sphere itself. So, yep.
Yep. Alright. Damage. Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and throw it here. Only a 17.
17 just hits.
Oh, good. Well, then we'll go ahead and do 1d4 plus 3 damage. Then we're going to go ahead and add Fury of the Small and Psychic Blades onto it. So 1d4 plus 3 for 5, plus 6 for 11, and then we'll go ahead and our 3d6. For 2 1s and a 6, so just another 8. So 19 damage.
That's about average
So-
damage for that.
That's not bad. For a dagger throw, that's not bad. So it's like you toss it hard and it goes flying out and it kinks the metal kind of outside or the shell outside of the sphere. It goes tink, tink, a whole bunch of like just psychic stuff at the end of and it kind of drops from hovering about 5 feet up, kind of drops a bit off to one side. You see the kernel unit on top of it, kind of like ooh, ooh, ooh. It kind of centers itself back up. Let's see, and the other hounds, the one that, yeah, and then what's the rest of your turn?
Then I'm gonna go ahead and kind of get a little distance from our little group, just like head out kind of to the left, I'm imagining a little bit, just in case there's some sort of area of effect attack that's gonna come and land on all 3 of us at once. Just in
About-
case.
You're about 5 feet from Ilix, you go about 10, 15?
We'll say like 15-ish, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, you're good, like
spread out a little bit.
Katya, so you kind of like walk away. Katya grappling down the one that was in front of you.
Speaking of which, that was a thrown weapon. So thrown weapon fighting adds 2 damage to that dagger strike. I forgot that.
A tiny bit more damage than it looked before.
Yay!
It hit like a screw, and the screw's like, and then the whole kind of. She moved away. 2 hounds, one of which came down just then. Done. The other one being grappled by Alex's Katya. And you're going to roll kind of a strength check to break. He has a 16.
Tested. I got a plus
13 plus
3. Ah, crap. 8.
Oh, that's
So-
not gonna cut it.
No.
8. It kind of. It's like its whole body. It's like the weirdest looking thing.
Question though. Question. Can I use Bardic Inspiration for Katya?
Rules as written, no, it's a second it's a separate creature.
If the answer is no, that's fine. I was just asking.
Yeah, as rules, no, because it is technically a second creature. Grins can
Right.
give it inspiration. Can give her inspiration.
Yeah, we have done that before. Okay.
So
All right.
So it's like a weird sight. Katya's like got its neck in its mouth, holding it down. Every now and then, its body kind of like rolls because it's facing towards it, as she slid it downward. So every now and then it'll kind of roll out from underneath her and kind of get its feet up at her, and then she'll like pin it down, and this time the whole thing, instead of rolling this way up away from her, the whole thing rolled underneath itself and around, and literally rolled itself over and onto her side. And it kind of pulled its neck out, ripped it. So she didn't even open its mouth to get rid of it. Just chunked a bunch of its neck out, and you see it's kind of like, kind of setting up, with two of its paws wrapped around her back on the other side, and two of them like outstretched firm against her side, kind of just standing off to the side of her, on top, ish. She's like bucking around trying to get it off.
Okay.
And then that's its turn. Hey. Plenty of problems. All right. And that is Elix's turn now.
Okay. So there is the large, the beholder is in the middle of the room. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
About 50 feet from you guys.
50 feet. Okay, Ilix going to go ahead and use. Yeah, it doesn't increase damage, so Ilix is going to go ahead and throw 2 separate rock glob needles. So first one, it's almost 19 on the die, and it was not 1.
Dang.
So the first one goes flying right by.
Elix is like, fuck that. I'm going for that guy. Tosses it. Forgets kernel units are projections. Goes right through him. Oh, shoot! Do a redo. Get that back.
And try again. That's better. 21 to hit.
Mm-hmm. You find a good seam.
I'm like,
Go ahead and mark
you know
that
guy,
one.
right?
Was that?
I'm like, Ekern, you know this guy, right?
Yes.
Does he have any weaknesses?
Well, he had weaknesses, but it's definitely not him anymore. Hi! 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 You can see it like every now and then. It's like shaking its head, and it'll hold it a little bit, and then like look up. I almost remember that voice. Is that little maggot there, Ecker?
Is everybody a maggot to you?
Ecker is like, it's his programming. It's like, hey.
Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and burn another favorite foe, which I'm burning through these things ridiculously fast. But
That's interesting, the way they do that now. Favorite foe.
yeah. Alright, so damage is 8 piercing damage plus D4.
You dip it?
Would you allow it?
You got like 2 different liquids, and they're in your quiver, so they remove the action requirements.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, then, yes, it's dead. So that's 9 piercing damage and 2d6 cold damage. Oh, nice. 11 cold off of 2d6. And then a d6 of lightning from Katya. 3 lightning. So that's, let's see here. Damage 8. So 9 piercing, 11 cold brings it to 20, so 23 damage total.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, 25 because the rock lob is a thrown weapon.
Yeesh. You find a seam.
And
It comes,
then-
hits in the seam. It starts to. Some of the panels start to flick and flail, and then slow. It also went to reach out for one of the ones that hasn't even sprouted from its fleshy sack yet. As that starts to slow down, now its time is drastically reduced. Almost like
And then,
it's like that was real effective. Go ahead, sorry.
oh, you can read what you're saying. I was just moving on to Katya's turn. But
Mm-hmm.
okay. So this thing is, he says, about 50 feet away from me, but Katya had to move, what about 15 feet to get to the one that she grappled?
Yeah, about 20. 20 in like an offshoot direction. So she's about 40 feet from the thing.
How close is it to the ground?
It's hovering within the 5 feet.
Okay. So she's going to take off like a rocket.
She's got to shake
Straight
off
for
the
that guy.
hound from it, as the hound has put its
Oh, it's-
paws all over her.
Oh, it's actually holding her?
Not grappled. It's on her.
Oh, okay. Okay. Is that going to impede her movement? Do I need to make a check for her?
She is definitely too strong for this small little thing. It's like if a small border collie was trying to ride on a very large panther.
Okay. So she's going to take off from the holder if it...
Yeah, her movement will probably shake it off.
Okay. If that's an attack of opportunity, she'll go ahead and take it.
Mm.
But she's going to attempt to grapple the beholder.
No, it goes for it. Rolled a 7 plus 5, so 12.
I don't believe so, but let me double check
Yeah.
quick. No, her base class is 14, and then it goes up with my proficiency bonus. She's at a 17 right now.
Right, so it went to snap at her for moving away, and the fifth jolt, because she basically turned her ass around, it bounced it and it fell off over on the side, and she makes her way out.
All right, and she's going to attempt to grapple the beholder. Oh, it was almost in that 20, but 11 total.
It's like weird. It's like how does a floating orb have a strength check? +1. Yes, I know.
Darn it.
Well, no, for it, you're good.
Oh,
Wait, did you just grapple the freaking
Oh, okay.
beholder?
Technically, yeah. Like so, like its panels are like slowing.
okay, gotcha.
It's like panels are like flailing about, and like little tendrils are like shooting out from its open panels as it opens and shuts them.
Just
some of
as
them
one of the
have-
tendrils shoots out, she like grabs it as she swings by and almost like spins the thing.
Yeah, literally. Like a dog pulling on a rope toy on somebody else, like holding it down, and the thing's like.
Oh boy.
It's like, someone get this pooch off me.
All right, and that is it.
All right, the other one is down. So Zendira.
Okay. So
You also have a tendril that is reaching for the gross sack that kind of fell near you. So about 30 feet, you see this like reaching tendril that's kind of like crossing your frame of reference. to reach over one of these other little things that got really slow and frosty.
Okay. How many hounds are up right now?
The one up, two now.
Okay.
To the one that was fighting near Grins, and fighting Katya, which is now sitting over there, kind of hurt. There's the one that just got out of its flame stack, which is about 15 feet from you now. And then there's the other one. There's two more a little further back, about 40 feet or so, that are getting out of their flesh stacks, and a tendril about 30 feet away reaching for it. The one closer to you.
Okay.
I have a feeling we're gonna have to deal with a lot more I-beams if a lot more of them doggies are integrated.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna call in a storm. It's probably my best bet. So yeah. I wanted to get guidance to either Katya or Ilix, but I'm probably better off getting a storm here. If I could have gotten it on Katya, it's like it's a plus D4 on your ability checks, but I don't think I can do that now. So, okay, I'm gonna go and cast then Call Lightning. So I've got my staff with the beetle thingy on the end, and I start kind of chanting and like swinging my staff around over my head. So okay, where do I target with this thing? Does it? Yeah, pretty much. Like a 40k weird boy or something. Yeah, for the orcs.
It's like a weird. It's like a weird, like, how does a cloud form inside of here? So it's slowly, almost like start to like pool around the edges of the wall and start to drip off and start to accumulate
starts,
this
falling out into the sky. Yeah.
It's like it like pulls out all the moisture out of this like gross liquid. So the walls become a bit more solid and like, and then it starts to pool like this watery black liquid up at the top with like this weird maroon and sickly green electricity that kind of rolls across the underside of this now black cloud that sits above the top. Every time the walls pulse, the pulse through the cloud, almost like this weird cross pattern, like cross wiring, and short circuits the top of it.
When I'm gonna guess when the raindrops come down, they're like black drops of almost tar. That's gross. Why did I do this?
Like some like acid rain on.
So it's let's see here. It summons, I guess, in a cylinder above me with a radius of 60 feet. And I think I can strike anything underneath the cloud, if I'm understanding this correctly. Yeah, under the cloud. Okay, cool. So I'm pretty sure that with what I'm understanding of the room, that's going to encompass most of what's in the room. I'm pretty
right now, yeah.
The beholder with that. So when can I actually cast
the initial cast should do an initial bolt of lightning.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I am going to.
Then, yeah.
I think I'm going to go ahead and just target the beholder with this one because it's a dexterity saving throw, and if it's grappled right now, I'm assuming that's going to hurt the dexterity save or be like a disadvantage or something.
It will.
Okay. And I'm also kind of hoping that Katya can help me out a little bit here with a little extra lightning damage.
We will see.
She could if she hadn't already used it on mine. It uses her reaction to use it.
Okay, so it should be 3D.
Initial reaction. Go ahead.
3d10 lightning damage. Gonna go ahead and roll that. See what we can do. And it's still okay. There we go. Looks like 18. Whoa, that was weird. No, 13 total.
Mm-hmm.
It was being weird on me. Yeah. Wait. What the heck? It's not showing up in the log.
I see it in the log.
I saw like messages show. I don't know what's happening. I'm gonna refresh my page. Yeah. Well, whatever that was.
DM was rolling saves for the dexterity
There it
saves for the
is.
beholder at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
But it has no dexterity because it's a floating orb. So that is a 14 minus 1.
Ah, that's funny. All right, so it looks like 13 lightning damage.
Strikes down. And it's odd. It's like it gives the pulsing comes up, hits the cloud, and almost sucks the energy out of the tower, like a cross wiring. Basically, short circuits the tower up above it,
Big spark. Yeah.
and you see the lightning kind of sparking away, and the kernel unit sitting on top of this orb. Before the lightning comes down and strikes, you can see him go, and then strikes down on top. And the whole orb kind of
I mumble in Druidic as I'm doing this, something that roughly translates to, I summoned the storm, and now feel Sucklaf's wrath!
So yeah, kernel unit starts to like he touched an electric fence a good second earlier than the actual lightning strike comes down. Bam! Hits the whole thing. It goes. The one eye starts to blink out, and then it hits the ground, and then all the panels kind of flop, 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 flop. As when it's struck down, you can see Katya holding one of its open. It hits down, literally rolls down. You can see all of the light blue ridges of crystals that roll down her back, literally light up like you hit a freaking the hammer thing at a fucking carnival, and it's right back and just chucks it right back into it, almost EMPing the whole thing.
Like a mini four-legged Godzilla.
Yeah, just kind of so like you see like yeah, yeah, and then it starts to just ooze, almost like the whole thing is like impossibly melting. Like it doesn't change its size, it's oozing, covering up the metal that was there. It's still almost unrecognizable as it starts to ooze at the bottom. It's good, a good minute. This almost this like whole like the whole thing kind of lifts up from what seems to almost be shoulders. As a spot in the gloop starts to spread out, and the eye, the one that it had, more tendrils, as it almost looks like it's rooting from its spot.
I'm gonna need more lightning.
Kachi goes rolling out from away from it, literally shaking off gloop. Hits the ground. From one of its shoulders, it's kind of it almost starts to like it's pulling its body out of the ground. It's like, oh, all right, maggots, I can't hold this back any longer. You're gonna meet the real jailer now. Last form, the Watcher. Not a Watcher, the Watcher. As it looks over, one of the other side, the eye is like from this corner of the circle skull-like thing, all the way down to like here as it goes, with another small one comparison. And the eye
Oh boy.
grins. You were about, I guess now, about 70 feet from this thing. The tendrils reaching out to about 40 feet away from you. As it literally opens up a small circle of goo in the center from where it's sat, is now starting to wrench its way out of the ground.
All right. Well. Oh boy. At 70 feet away, I'm gonna go ahead and move to within 40 feet of it. And from there,
Stepping over the tendril.
oh, whoa. And how many doggo things are there still?
Some of them have frozen themselves. There was one that was about 30 feet back ahead of you, that was birthing itself. And the one that was about 20, now about 30 feet away from you as you moved away, that laser beamed you earlier, looking kind of ragged.
Okay, so 2 of them, and they're both within 40 feet of me now.
Just about, yeah. Now at this
Okay.
point.
Well, at that point, I'm gonna slide my drum around and go ahead and use one of the charges to target the beholder and the two cyber doggo things, with the chattering descent. So I don't know if this is gonna do exactly what we want it to do, but at least it's gonna mess them up for a little bit.
It's like the initial hit of the drum. It doesn't even hear the drum beat. It's just a soft. As it starts to, the shaking of the bones and the beating of the drum as it echoes and reverberates back and forth into the center, shaped well enough to start echoing the insides, almost gives this weird sound of like a room full of whispering, screaming people. They're all screaming things, but it's whispers, and it's loud and soft and everywhere. Just into the back of the minds, almost maddening for you guys if it wasn't for the fact that you are not the target. It's almost like a figure reaches out and grabs the other individuals from their ears and then screams at them, or it's like a visual figure of mana that just kind of grabs and then and the dogs shake. The thing rises inside of its little cocoon thing, and then it's a weird dynamic. The trail of dissonant whispers reaches out to the skull of this beholder, the Watcher, and it goes and screams at it, and it shakes its head, reels up, and screams back at it, and it's literally this thing where they're like shouting at each other, and then it goes and it's the ethereal figure starts to crack, and then you see the Watcher go, yeah, no, starts to reels back, as the other one bursts out, dealing its damage. It rolled super low. I won't even legendary resistance that. It got a 2. What's the damage?
There's no damage. It makes a Constitution saving throw, and if it fails, it is stunned and muted.
It is stunned and muted.
Till the end of
So
its
that
next turn.
so you literally, this thing goes. As it starts to drip more over its face, and all you can hear is soft gurgling, and then it just kind of can't pull it pull itself out of the ground. It keeps wrenching up and getting stuck. Its arms kind of preoccupied at the moment.
And I'm just gonna yell, "Guys, hit it now!"
The dogs,
Wraps up
the
my turn.
the two dogs that are nearby that are actually working, stunned in fear, including the two that one of the ones from you, the other one kind of backing away as it's slowly trying to avoid getting reached by this slowly encroaching tentacle that was floating and then hit the ground and is still slowly leaking across the ground, trying to grab at this dog. It's like backing away, like. Doesn't mind doing its job. Does not like being a
mechanical horror.
Does not want to be a part of something else. Is what it, So has no problem fucking you guys up. Does not want to die. Does not want to die. Wants to be. Elix, your turn.
Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and let's see here. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm down 2, which means I have 4 rock lob needles left. If it's stunned, do I have advantage to hit?
Mm-hmm. It's not moving.
Sweet. That is.
It's just constantly trying to pull itself a duck.
Oh no.
2 3s.
But no, but
Is all right. But I do have the inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
How much is your inspiration, that Matt?
D8.
D8.
Oh, we need like an 8.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah.
How it? Oh,
It hurts us.
Grin said I could do it.
Well, sometimes Grins is wrong, apparently.
All right.
Don't listen to everything
it goes.
he says.
Pink. And it goes, ooh.
What are the odds of 2 3s? All right.
Well, I could tell you. Do you really want to know?
Not particularly. That's better. Nat 20.
Oh.
Wait, you just did it twice?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, one and then the other.
You can right click on stuff to roll with advantage or disadvantage.
Yep.
But anyways.
So yeah.
Anyways.
Oh, the
Okay. So
one hits it and it blinks a bit and then looks down and you smack its eyeball.
all right. And he is my favorite foe. So everything that's rolled gets extra juice. Nice. So 13 plus 2d4 is, so it's 18 damage.
Nice.
Well, these were also dipped, so 46 cold damage.
And let's see. That was a critical hit because it was a 20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So 13 cold damage.
So it doesn't
So
double
we're
the
at
13.
what, 20, 31.
Or you rolled damage twice, I forget.
Mm-hmm.
Are we doing critical different? I thought it was just roll, or are we rolling once and then doubling it?
I don't know, I was just asking.
So the rules say if you score a critical hit, you roll like double the dice instead of
Double the dice, right?
single. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what I thought. Okay. So I lost track. What did we say we were at? It was 13.
You got 13.5 and another 13 in your D6s, which I think you said were cold damage.
Yes.
Don't you need
13, 18, we're at 20, we're at 31.
You would basically just roll all the dice again that you roll.
Oh my gosh, all of it again. Holy crap.
Just the dice. So the dice is what doubles. So what happens is you have all your pluses, and then when you crit, you double the dice. The dice.
Yeah.
The dice. Any dice you roll for that attack, it is doubled. As wow, sneak attack is so great. Sneak attack.
4 lightning damage from Katya.
So all this damage you just did, he's gonna do all of this again. It was gonna
Yeah, just
roll it
rolling.
again. Yeah.
All of the dice.
Just roll like dice. Don't do it like underneath the abilities. Just roll the dice. That way you don't get the pluses doubled again.
Okay.
That's the best way
Okay.
to do it.
So now we're okay. All right. 13, 26, 31, 35 damage. Trying to think if there's anything else that I roll on top of that. I don't think so. Because that's base damage, favored foe, cold, lightning. That should be it. So 35 damage total.
Is
I think
that's
So
not
you-
counting for the critical damage though, is it?
That is the critical damage, yes.
Okay, whatever.
you don't. Yeah, the ice shock and the rock lock damage.
Oh, the rock. Okay, I see what you did with the rock lock damage. So it was 1d6 of damage, and then you had a +3, and so then you made it 2d6 of damage and the +3.
Exactly.
Now I understand. I was waiting for you to do. It looked like it did 3d6 of damage, so I was waiting for another 3d6 roll to come up, and that's why I was confused why you weren't doing it. Okay, now I understand.
37 because it's a thrown weapon. So
So then, oh yeah, it like the first one kind of like pinks and then it goes, ooh, and it's like one whap right in its big eye, and it hits it and it goes ooh, and looks back and it is all this like elemental damage just starts like pouring out of its eyeball. And it goes, I am Watcher. It starts to now try and speak. And slowly becoming itself. Slowly.
Now he wants to negotiate.
well, dude, watch this. And Katya goes running up its back and starts biting into its neck. So I don't remember what her plus is to hit. Come here. She is. Let's see here. Bite. Okay, +3. +3 plus proficiency bonus. So she's got a +6 to hit. I forgot to roll at advantage, but it was a natural 20 anyways. So
No, it wouldn't get any worse. It wouldn't get any better.
okay, so, and then bite. Yeah, so 2d6.
Not hearing any complaints about digital dice now.
5 plus 3, so that's 8 damage on top.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. She's like now just like on the back of his neck, so and it's like all right. It is stunned for the turn, so Sandira.
Okay, well, I'm inspired by the damage of my comrades, and I'm going to go ahead and call down. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just straight up call down another lightning strike. I've got it. Might as well use it. So it's a dexterity save of 14, but I guess I just rolled the damage first.
It is stunned for the turn. It is not. It is an auto win.
Okay, so 3d10. What do we get? Oh, much better than last time. 25. That's pretty sweet.
last time cut like the tail end of like the static from like the pulsing. This one just basically just like sucked the whole, like pulled itself. It's just like, excuse me.
I was watching the pulsing and timing the strike.
You like every time you feel it come in, you're like, whoa, whoa. Yeah,
And I'm just gonna walk to make sure that I'm standing like in the 5-foot space next to Ilix. So.
that is altogether, since the Watcher has been a thing, almost 100 full blown damage on this thing. Almost in the one turn. In one turn, it's become the Watcher, and you guys have literally just plowed almost 100 damage onto it right now.
Guys, I told you we were gonna be back by dinner, okay?
It literally like,
huge.
and I will not. It hits this little bit hard. Its arm that was trying to pull it up on the right side just kind of slumps. It almost like reaches out to rake one of you guys, and it's just way too far away. It's Britons.
All right. Well, at this point, we're gonna go ahead and I think we're gonna cast a. Seeing all the damage that's being done, I'm like, okay, doing good. Yeah, actually, we'll. Oh, I guess that thing wasn't actually stunned by Zendira's turn one.
I don't think so.
Because it's stunned until the end of its next turn, so it would have been right before.
It's been right before Z again. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Renz is gonna go ahead and cast a 3rd level Dissonant Whispers on the Beholder. So that's a Wisdom save of 16. He's just gonna start slowly whispering as he lowers his drum a little bit, glaring malevolently at the Watcher the entire time through slit eyes.
Yeah. 15.
Oh, close. So that will
That's
be... Yep.
That's with the Watchers now plus 11 for Wisdom savings.
Ooh, wow.
It rolled a 4. I was like, I don't need a legendary. I'll roll. Hey.
Alright, well, in that case, we're gonna go ahead and burn up our last Bardic Inspiration point to make this go from 5d6
Oh, yes.
to 8d6 psychic damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 22. Also, if it's still alive, it needs to run from me as much as it possibly can.
Roll. You said what? Almost 22?
Yeah, I believe that was right. Yes, it was
That-
22.
That psychic damage breaks through its brain. Brain? Maybe? You can literally see it wash across the panels that were the sphere shaking around. It looking out with its small red eye and this large, now protruding, greasy, black, oily liquid from it. It shakes its head a few times, and then the spell really hits. It goes, "Ding!" And the thing literally like screeches taut, all of its bones literally, and like stares almost like through you. And grins. You're kind of sitting in this dark room by yourself.
Uh-oh.
And sitting in front is the little kernel unit. Doesn't look corrupted anymore. Gives you the thing is big old like handlebar mustache, fake handlebar mustache. The whole mouth is all the way around the circle, so it kind of like cuts this little spot. The big old sheriff star, with the cowboy vest, and little things on its like little itty bitty impossible body. Little cowboy hat sits on a little way too small for the big round head of it. Kind of looks you down. Kind of looks down at you like, I don't want to die, but must be done. So, if you have to, just crush it now, and I won't look. And like down in your hands is the hex rod, kind of leaking this blackness, kind of down your hands and stuff. I won't be upset, and I won't look. Just do it now before I change my mind, or what's left of it.
Well, it looks pretty corrupted and nasty.
It looks fine, but it is just leaking and bleeding out of orifices you didn't know it had. It is corrupted, but it is not broken.
Okay, just a small hex rod.
It's like an unbroken quad that's just corruptively leaking out of it.
Sorry it had to end this way, Sheriff.
No. I'm sorry for being so hard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I can't be alive, and it's trying to awaken the maid from me under its own image, and I can't let it do it. And you hurt me enough, please just crush me and leave me to my fate.
Sweet dreams, Sheriff. Sorry it had to end this way. Crunch.
Megan! No. It's like, picks up like, look at the grass, from nowhere, just kind of, time to go out to pasture. And you kind of just, and as he goes, the whole kind of room kind of bleeds away, and you like feel yourself getting wafted back into the space you were at, which is from what was very calm, quiet, absolute fucking chaos. Like the noise comes back, it starts as like it was quiet, and then because there's so much noise right off the bat as the room gets pulled away from you, it's like this hard ringing, and it's like for the other two, the thing goes and just starts flailing wildly about, and then stops, and then goes, and the whole thing goes, and then it starts flailing about wildly again, and then stops. all of a sudden it starts, and it starts cracking itself inward to itself, just impossibly shrinking into a void of itself. The ground starts to bubble a bit. The roof starts to collapse. All that's left, once it starts to condense into this small black orb that then just goes ping, 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 and starts rolling back towards you guys. And then the eyeball onto the ground. The small red one. Pink.
And are the dogs still up?
Haven't seen them. The one that was trying to crawl its way out definitely just got with a fucking rock from the side of the walls. And the other one is like trying to keep itself upright from the ground. That's like shaking about. One of them, through the wild flailings, kind of got the shit slapped out of it by one of the hands. Katya got flown off the back of it. It is now trying to run from basically across the entire floor towards you guys because it was on the back. And that's what happened with you guys. And Grins, that you just started getting into this scene of like the whole place coming down, and it's flailing around, and it stops the second time and goes, and then it flails about again, and then its head smacks the ground real hard in front of Zendira, just literally like, and then it reaches up and it goes, you just come back to absolute fucking chaos.
Oh boy.
I think we kept Zendira's promise, and now it might kill us. Let's go.
Grins, it's getting worse. What did you do?
Yeah, like Grins like literally Alex going up. He's like, oh.
I think we should run.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Let's go. Start running towards the exit.
Ground.
I thought people listen when he says it. I just said it.
I just said it. The dexterity saving throws, my friends.
Uh-oh. How do I have
Not great,
bad
but
dex?
not horrible. 17.
17.
No! Nat 1 plus
11
1.
for Ilix.
Nat 1 plus 1.
And then Katya's.
All right. Room's coming down.
On a dice plus what? Plus 1. So 10 for Katya and whatever I rolled. 11 for Ilix.
So over the 10, Ilix, the 10 and over, Ilix, you're running out, you get hit by some boulder, comes crashing down, hits like the back of your shoulder and the back of the neck there a little bit, kind of pushes you a little bit. You take a good, let me roll for it. What am I doing? Just roll for it. 10 points of bludgeoning damage as the rock comes flailing downward. I got the top 10 on that one for the D10. Same with Katya takes so one. It was a small pebble.
It's like, Katya, look out. Wham!
Zendira, as you're running out, one of the things hits the back of your hip and falls on top of one of your legs. You are currently pinned as the place starts to come down around you.
Guys?
Let's roll.
Guys?
Let's do theory throws. How you guys gonna help?
Gonna roll.
Let's see here.
Well, no, it's like how do you guys want to help this entire route?
Okay, Ilix is going to. I'm assuming I'm within 30 feet of him.
Within.
Okay, Ilix is going to point behind him, and Katya is going to disapparate from where she is and kind of reapparate part way under this piece that's pinning Z, and lift up on it. Like it's across her shoulders.
Basically, like fill the space.
Yeah, and lift up to take the pressure off of his leg or whatever is pinned there.
So, like, yeah, that's easy. So, like, a new age, one of those new age disaster-saving items where they just pump a balloon underneath the stone to lift it over off people. And so they just
Katya,
and the bottom.
Katya has hydraulic powers confirmed.
She kind of nudges under your butt.
How much damage do I take from that?
From that one, ooh, roll the 6 or the D10 9.
All right.
As it hits and not hard enough to literally probably cripple you, because that's where people get crippled from, right above the hips.
Yeah, so I'm going to like kind of almost start walking.
If
forward.
he wants to climb onto Katya, she is big enough for him to ride, and she has a 40-foot move.
Pretty much, yeah.
That works too. I mean, I can turn into something, and Katya can ride me too. So.
6-1, Hepta's the other.
If Katya makes advance, or if she like motions for me to do it, like if you direct her to, like I can jump on her back. Yeah.
like she like nuzzles under your butt, and she gets you to stand up, and then you're like, thanks, and you got to kind of walk, and she watches you waddle slowly, like. Like, don't have time. Your back hurts, you know.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
Didn't hurt me. What's your guys' problem? How do you guys get hit by the big boulders? What's wrong with you?
You're such big babies.
Such big babies.
All right.
Just y'all. Grins on the outside of the door, just kind of like, what's taking you guys so long?
I get outside and like stop and like turn around. I'm like,
they're like struggling behind you, like, because you rolled over 15.
It's like Merlin. It's like Merlin and Finding Nemo. We did it! Goblin is the winner.
Over 15's out, no problem. Just like, yeah, you all get out of that. Starts to collapse behind you guys. You guys take the slow walk back to where
because it's cool. As we're running towards the door, I'm going to cast jump and give it to Katya. So we can leap like 60 feet out the door.
Like leaps out to like the side of it. She's just like, it's like,
hey,
fine.
It
like,
triples her jump distance. So.
grins from underneath,
Right.
just like watches like in slow mo.
Jump distance is a strength score, right?
Yeah, I think plus the time 3, so it's like.
Yeah, so she's got like a 48-foot jump distance now.
God, just like, yeah. Explosions in the background.
Didn't even look back. Nice.
Landslide behind you in the background of clouds.
And then probably just dematerializes and I land in a heap on the ground.
Captain and a few other people willing to grab something to help. Kind of like. He felt bad for leaving you guys.
I'm gonna go ahead and walk straight over to the captain. I'm gonna look him straight in the eye, and I'll be like, "Let's be super clear. You owe us now."
he he was walking towards past you guys a little bit, kind of survey the damage and stuff, kind of poking things around. Come up behind him and say that. And he goes, "You know what? Yeah, yep, yep." Lifts up the like that black from the whole thing just crushed. Like, I do. Here, you take care of that. Consider it a gift. What? You know what? Kind of shuffles a bit about it more. Yeah, looks like it's worth some. Here, you have that too. Hands you the eyeball, which has now been stripped of everything else except for the crystalline glass that it was used as, and whatever minor tendrils, uncorrupted, were sticking out the back end.
Okay, we're even. Shoves it in my pocket.
I kind of like reach up to the captain, and he's a lot taller than I am. But I put like my hand on his shoulder, and he's like, I'm like, "Tonight, friend, you will rest with Sucklaf's blessing."
And keep the lantern. I won't need that many of them now, I suppose. Let's get you guys a bite to eat or something. You guys look fucking ragged.
Yes.
What comes from being at the front.
Maybe hose you down too or something. He kind of because you put your hand on his, so he kind of puts his hand on yours, and it's kind of like, yeah.
When
Where
we get a moment,
did you guys
when we get a
fucking
moment,
come from? Anyway? Yeah, go ahead.
when we get a moment to rest, I am going to cast Healing Word on myself.
Yeah.
Did anybody else take? I think.
Oh yeah, I took like 11 damage right at the get-go.
Oh. Ilix, did you take any damage?
Just right at the end when the boulder hit him in the shoulder.
No, but like 8 damage.
But I mean, if we're about to, that was 10 damage. But if we're about to, take a rest anyway, spend a hit die, back
the way
up.
your guys' party does combat, with the like lockdowns and stuff. There's like two ways an opponent for good combat for you guys. One, make it like the roll of the dice. Literally, when you guys don't get something locked down, it hits you hard. Or two, it's like a bunch of things that do a bunch of little damage. So it's the only real way. That's the only two ways really to combat that kind of. So you guys have gotten like the majority of how your guys' combat strategies pretty on lock for most things.
Nice.
I feel bad for the first bandit group that tries to rob you guys. You haven't really had an opportunity to just be like caught out inside the wilderness for some reason, but God bless them.
Well, I see that Grins is kind of looking a little hurt from the damage. I'm like, hey friend, and I kind of like place my hands on his shoulder and say like a quick prayer to Sucklav to do
Like
7 heal.
it's like from his hand it waves out like moss that like grows and then slowly dies behind it and just kind of covers and leaves, and then it just feels better. Just feels better.
Thanks.
Not bruised up anymore. No.
This is one of your homeopathic remedies.
I don't know, but it works well on
power
her.
of God.
You don't have to, yeah.
Homeopathic boost by the power of a god.
Like,
Power
I don't
of
know.
love compels you.
You're healed.
How much do we heal up after rest, anyways? Because I'll expend like, I mean, would we just completely heal up afterwards, or?
Yeah, you know.
Okay, cool.
You guys will have a rest. You guys will eat and stuff. You get some meals. Whoever wants to go out to the field and pick up their eggs fork.
Yeah, and get Tauchu.
She's like, to be honest, I thought you all would probably die.
Before
But wonderful.
before we leave the area, I take it the tower is basically receded back into the ground or something at this point.
It is a crumble of ruins now. But
And here I was,
as you guys were walking,
all concerned that it was going to take us a while to tear that thing down. What a relief.
I want to actually try to head back to where I can discern the center of the runes were, and I want to detect. I want to cast detect magic.
all right.
So when I get there, I'll just cast it, yeah. And I'm specifically, I mean, I know there's like the dark magic of the corruption, but I'm looking for anything that doesn't look like that. Specifically, anything that might be like uncorrupted hex rods or something of that nature. Probably not a golden hex rod here, but I would love it if there was a golden hex rod here. But you know, just looking for anything that might be useful that's just not pure corruption or anything like that. And also general.
So,
see what I see.
So you're like digging through, and you're like, this is gonna be a while, and you're like, detect magic, and
it's a 30-foot range.
You almost see, yeah. So for 30 feet around you, since you're like in the rubble, it's almost like you see the tower still there in almost energy, and it is slowly like snowfall outward, like reversed of what you were watching. So it's like the tower's still there, and you can just literally see it like almost falling slower than the actual tower collapsed. And then the corruption gives this like weird, like black purple, like mild glow across its whole surface. And Ekron kind of like is like hovering around, and he pretends to pick up a rock. Like there's a rock there, and he picks up the rock, like through his illusion. But the rock is still there, but he picks up like like what looks like the rock that he picks up. He kind of puts it around. He's like, huh. And he picks it up again, and he throws it. He goes, huh. And he picks it up again, and he throws it.
I see him like pick the rock up and move it forward.
He kind of pretends he's helping. He's like, huh. But looking out, you see what Ekron looks like in his little like body, and the colors that he exudes out, and you see that, as you can see through rubble and shit, right? You can see similar like shades, kind of like radiate out, and you guys search through, and while Grins went out into the mind of this poor kernel unit and crushed it, the actual physical hex rod is still there. Yeah, pull it out of the goop. But undamaged, as he kind of was softly cored in the center of this sphere, now left to the elements, uncorrupted.
Nice. Ekern, we can fix you! I think. Do you know how this works? Ilix has a very concerned look.
There we are. Yeah. I said again, I lost my battery in my earpiece. So Ekron goes, ah! What?
We have have a quad hex rod.
Wonderful. He goes to fly it, through. It's like, oh, I forgot. It's not that easy. But hey, it can be fixed. That's right.
Are we not a little concerned about what was just in this 5 minutes ago?
Well, I guess maybe we should put it in. Maybe we can put it in a clean container and see if anything oozes out of it.
You know, I think we should just bring it back and have the specialists look at it in their specialist way.
Like, I shake it next to my ear to try to hear any sloshing.
No slushing.
Yeah, we know somebody who's good for this. Like we can gosh, what was her name again?
I mean, does it look...
Vaughn.
Yeah.
You speak of the law.
Yeah, it's like yeah. I was like, I mean, we can warp back and talk to her once we're done talking to Tauchu, and she can probably help us with this.
Done talking with Tauchu. What do you mean? Tauchu's coming with, right?
Oh right, yeah.
All right.
Hachi's caravan, kind of back there, like you guys are talking about that. He's just kind of like, well, I better be coming with you guys. I was home. I thought you would not die, but you didn't. It's great. Come, adventurers. It's time to leave. I can get more things, put more things on sale.
Oh right, of course. And I start reaching back for the tuning fork.
What is that?
I'm like, guys, I don't have the tuning fork.
What?
Friends is like, well, hey, look what I found. Fancy that. All right.
Tauchu looks over like, what is that?
Oh, this is how we're going. This is how we're traveling
Own
back.
property.
Don't
Okay,
worry, it's much
I'm
safer than it used to
excited.
be.
All right. I'm like holding the black ball and the crystal eye thing. I'm like, well, I'll just add these to my new and upcoming collection of rare, weird, cool things that I bring it back with my dragon scale. Yeah.
But you have dragon scale too.
Oh yeah. It was a gift from a friend.
Which friend?
Trax and I made a friend. You were busy doing whatever it is that you do, and Zendira was
That was probably sleeping
know.
off.
Pretty sure he was out meditating and learning from his obsession.
His mistakes.
Yeah, it's like canonically, they got the request from Byron, and they're like, "Hey, Alex, you want to come?" And you're like, just warp the fuck out after talking with George. They came up and they're like, "Hey, Alex," and you're like staring up at a dragon. And he goes, and basically like slaps you out of existence. They're like, "Oh, I guess he's not coming. All right."
All right, well,
You will have to tell me about your experience.
I say we plant the tuning fork and head on out.
So,
Yep.
yes. When it plants down, one of you guys tap it a bit, and it goes, "Whee!" You guys,
I turned to
It's
Tauchu
fucking-
and I'm like, as it sucks me in, I'm like, see? Perfectly safe!
he's like, "Oh no, I don't like this form of," as you guys don't see because he's last, but he's like starts dripping away from himself. He's like, "I don't like this." It's like this whole thing tumbling, jerking through this space tunnel. You turn around and there is a large mass of mimic screeching behind you guys. It's the size of a freaking caravan.
Oh no.
As he goes, it's tumbling behind you, just in like, there's like minor quiet wails and sad sniffles. As you guys come screeching in, softly, like you guys came off of a thing, and you guys slowly get out of the way as a soft mound of mimic kind of rolls out, kind of sloshes out, it kind of stops turning on the ground, and you see kind of almost like it crawls out of the mass, kind of tout you, going, "Oh, I'll never get this thing to go back to normal again. Come on," and it's a few times like, "Pull yourself together." As it goes, "Oh," and it kind of opens up, and a good amount of like this stuff kind of like gurgles out of the center of this open mouth. It's like, "Oh no, you're spilling it everywhere. Come on, we can do this. We can survive." As he shakes his head kind of comes back together a bit more, like, "Oh,
So
oh."
the barrel really was your cousin.
What it seems, I suppose.
Oh boy.
Cool.
And
Nice.
he kind of pulls what was kind of like flesh, and it kind of starts slowly color changing back into like deep browns, and it becomes pants. He kind of pulls them up around his newly formed waist. And he goes, "Ugh. Come on, look away, there's nothing to see." It's like you all never seen someone try to get dressed again. Come on, put your Sunday best on. He just slaps the mound again. It's starting to get wood textures, and the top of it is starting to cone out into a roof again. One of the wheels gets spit out, and then grabs it, and kind of pulls it back up next to it.
Oh.
Wow.
It may take a little while. You guys got a good place for us to stay?
I'm sure we can find some place.
There's quite a bit of room in the glade.
I'll find some place to set up camp then. In the meantime, adventurers, come see me when I put camp out, and I'll have other good things on sale. Once my caravan gets his shit together.
Sounds good. Prince turns to the other two. He's like, "Well, how about that? Didn't see that coming. Nope." Well, I have got to get word back to the Crane and his crew. He'll be very happy to hear about this.
Yeah, and you guys meet up, and so the Crane and the Lion are sitting crisscross, trying to have some tea. So you have the Crane generally sitting, looking like he should, and the Lion, way bigger, little cup of tea. The lizard is somewhere to be found. Every now and then you hear rustling in the canopy, and you hear a soft, "Oh, come on, please. I know I'm big, but you're kind of heavy." As the orc cook is having a little hitchhiker, the fox is riding his back, giggling all she can. And you can see every now and then when she gets a little too loud in her proclaims of joyous fun, the lion puts his cup down and huffs real loud and like, "Get off of him already!" Oh, never let me have any fun. Crane looks up and is like, "Ah, good. I take it we've done better things."
I turn to Zindira and I'm like, the contract, please.
I shuffle
Eh.
in my bag and like pull out the contract and hand it to Grins very proudly.
And start like, paging through it and looking. I'm like, let's see, and find like the
As you
most.
open it, it's interesting. It's almost like all three of you guys feel something pull from your face onto the paper, onto the parchment. And you can see in spots that were dotted for contractual obligations, start to dim its clarity and then get scrawled out. So he goes,
Hand
the
it over to
contract. He opens it up. He goes, that's a lot of information on these. I didn't expect it was connected. Destroyed the tower. Removed the curse. Destroyed object. Destroyed the creature. Shuts it. He takes the contract, he taps his head a little bit, and as he pulls away, it's almost like everything in the contract. Alright. Corruption, huh?
appears to be.
Oh
I
yes, we're
becoming
experts
more
in
and
the
more
corruption.
common.
It's definitely corruption.
He's like, well, that's a lot of threads that were loose that are now tying itself together.
I lean
Alright.
down to Grins. Did you tell them what happened to our other friend?
We'll talk later. Some details. Yeah.
Good. That's one less thing I have to worry about. But it does mean now all of our loose ends are tied. Me and my family are going to make a trip. So we will be doing radio silence.
I'm sorry, what is the radio?
Radio.
Rock silence. Rock silence.
Oh, rock silence.
Gotcha.
I saw a D&D stream where they had rocks that were attuned to each other, so they could talk to each other like radio, and they called them the Rocky Talkies.
Nice.
It's something like that. Like the big old rock speakers you saw in Rossmeyer. Yeah. I appreciate. And through the contract, that's yours. He points at a chest. He's like, there's 1,000 gold in there.
I'm standing next to Grins, and I just like with my arm, and like grab his.
Pleasure doing business with you as always, sir.
100 each for the tower. 100 each for the creature. And a good 400 extra for the wild amount of information I just gained about all the things that are going wrong with this forsaken continent.
It was truly a
Literally.
pleasure to put a tiny part right.
It makes a lot of things make sense whenever I have something that literally goes to shit for no reason. It makes sense now. All right. I appreciate, gentlemen. Grins. Besides the silence later, I'll keep in touch.
Since we have given you
Excellent.
so much information, perhaps we can get a little information in return. You say we seek knowledge about the corruption too. One of the reasons we were so interested in taking this job. It seems that you have a deal of knowledge about it yourself.
Honestly, just what it does. I've seen inanimate things get up and move like it wanted to. It
Oh, that was
scorched
just how.
earth. The corrupted slime turned merchant. That's how mimics were born. So he goes, scorches earth, lays waste, corrupts minds. But at least now I know where it comes from. For information, yeah. You guys have a group name?
We are the heirs of Havish.
Ah. So now I have names to faces. Good. Your name does come up. There's two people looking for you. A small child and a large minotaur.
I believe we have met them before. Do you know where they were last seen?
A bit more north from here. But I let them know your location before I leave. That was my end of the bargain. But the two of them seem very distraught. They're looking for you pretty hard.
There was no half-elven woman with them.
There was a young boy and a minotaur. The only two that approached me.
That doesn't bode well.
And then I'm trying to think of what he knows. Power surges. Get words from the mages quite often. Something I don't think you guys get. You guys hanging around the other group. Mages have hold of what seems to be quite a bit of power that they've kind of stumbled upon out southeast. And instead of giving it up to the proper authorities, you know what they like to do? They kept it for themselves and they're trying to exploit it. They haven't gotten any headway now, so I don't really care. But I do have people watching because, heaven forbid, it did feel like a lot of power.
And you think this has something to do with the origin of the corruption?
Honestly, it feels like that. He kind of stares through you. He goes, it honestly feels like one of those things you got hiding in your pack.
What color was it?
Way bigger. Way bigger.
Gold?
I didn't see it. I only checked the magic that it beams off of itself.
And what did you see?
Well, if yours covers you and a small area around you, I could see that through a building. Like the sun.
Can I get a history check to see if I remember if that lines up with what I know of the golden hex rods?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, here we go. Oh, it's a 10. It was nat 20, 10.
No, Wiki 11.
Yeah, it isn't a lot.
That's
Sorry.
that's what things like. That's what hits you with the 10 over. It is like what you have, and bright like the sun. Like that's the one thing you recognize. Like even from like when you were at Roskmeyer and you only had a 30 feet to detect magic, you could see the aura hitting the edge of your 30 feet. And it was a good like half a mile up the mountain pass where you guys walked up. So yeah, bright like the fucking sun.
Well, that is most helpful indeed.
Yeah. Figured those would be some of the things you guys would most pertinently want to know. All right.
They did not mention. I just want to ask one more time. They did not mention a woman named Aika.
I didn't remember. They were very adamant. I didn't get much out of them. Mostly because the little one knew not to say too much to me. He's a smart little cookie.
This is true.
That and the other one doesn't speak absolutely at all.
Well, that sounds like our friends.
Yep. We'll check it out. Thank you for relaying this.
All right. So, one shot over. So, to you guys got 1,000 gold chest. Basically, a corrupted maid rushed into a sphere about this size. The eyeball of a watcher. And your anti-life lantern. Also retconned. Because this happens within the week before you guys leave out to the library. Ekron was having trouble trying to awaken his maid being broken. Ekron does not have to be broken anymore when you guys are there, because you guys found a hex rod and fixed it. So in the background, Iantha Vaughn will be working her magic to try and switch Ekron out from his broken hex rod into the new one with her brand new invention. Maybe.
All right. How do we want to split up that 1,000 gold? Do we want to split it 4 ways? Or is it just among those who went?
I think
I'd say we could cut
maybe.
it.
Yeah.
I'd say we
Thinking
cut
maybe.
Yeah, you guys could do it like you guys get like the 200, the 200 each, and then split the 400 amongst each other.
Or if we just go 254 ways.
I'd say let's just split it 254 ways. Let Trax know these.
That is uncharacteristically altruistic of you, Grins.
Is it though? Is it though? Is it though?
That and a little bit after, Tauchu and a few other individuals said there is a good medium-sized fort sitting on the edge of this crater that's just sitting there abandoned. It sounds like there are people in it, possibly a couple of no-gooders. Weren't quite sure what the name of the place was. Didn't get around to the front. seems like it's the guys of Fort that was sent out to you guys. But
Has some squatters.
has some squatters. Has some squatters.
Well, we did just expel a beholder from its own lair, so I'm sure we can handle the squatters.
It won't be a
I'm
problem.
not sure what kind of squatters are there, but you guys got
Yeah,
squatters.
that'll be fine.
It's fine, yeah.
Nice.
All
Yes,
right.
you guys have a time next other time you guys can clear out and set up your fort. I mean, you guys can do that over Discord if you guys want. It'll be getting it filled, going out and finding your merchants.
Nice.
And DM, I have a little piece of white turquoise that I've been working on a little while. Is this frost liquid that I've been dipping the spears in an appropriate thing to go ahead and marinate it in? That's the last.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys, I'm gonna have to drop here.
Yep.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. It was fun.
Yeah, you guys have a good day.
All right, we'll catch you next time. Thanks.
But so that's.
Oh, there he goes.
He's gone.
Ah.
I was still trying to talk to Josh.
The answer is yes to whatever your question was. Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Very nice. Yeah, no, it's like a D&D system is finally starting to make a little bit more sense to me because I took the time to read Starfinder rules and some of the knowledge transfers. I've never really
Gotcha.
read the player rules. I've just I walked through the character creation
Oh,
with
really?
D&D Beyond, and I've just been like, yeah, dude, because like we started like what you've seen on screen is basically my D&D training. I'm not. Have I played any D&D Beyond beside this? We've planned it a couple times, but I think this is all the D&D I've ever played. And like it started like kind of impromptu, so like I didn't even have time to read all the rules. I just jumped on and went with it. That's funny. I do feel like I could create.
It's starting to make more sense, though.
Yeah, I think I could make a better character if I did it again. Like, I have a better understanding of how the stats work together now.
But that's the fun of firsts, right?
Yeah, I've got two other characters that I've never played. Adam Hunter here. He was going to run.
Oh, you mentioned that.
Yeah, he was going to run Beyond Witchlight, but it hasn't happened yet. We had a date and ended up getting canceled. I had a tiefling monk I was going to play. I was kind of excited for that.
I thought you said that you had some. I thought you said it was Adam that was going to run.
This happened twice now. Yeah, he was also going to.
Okay. Yeah, he was going to run the. What was the other one?
Into Avernus or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Yeah, and you said you had a tiefling fighter for that.
Tiefling fighter for that. Yeah. Yep. Never actually came to fruition.
Oh, dude. Like, what was it? Not this past Thursday, but a week before that. So I've got a Monday night game I play